world that can hurt you more than your own thoughts. There's also nothing in this world that can heal you more than your own thoughts. If you focus on the past, fear controls you. If you focus over the future, anxiety consumes you. If you focus on others, they dictate your life. If you focus on the hurt, you will continue to suffer. If you focus on the lesson, you will continue to grow. People think time is the most valuable asset, but in reality, it's your attention. Where you place your focus shapes your reality, your knowledge, your path. Time moves on regardless. Attention is what gives it meaning. So direct it wisely towards your growth, because your mindset creates your reality.
All right. Let me get over here. I got to fix my Elgato Stream Deck because it's not working correctly. I hope you guys liked the video. I found it very inspirational, and I think a lot of people don't look at life that way, or at least don't reflect on the fact that it is that way. I hope you guys are having a good morning today. We got a lot to talk about, I mean, I'm seeing breakouts in ArcG and CleanSpark and potentially BMNR today, and many, many more tickers that all look like they want to start screaming higher. We're going to start off with the U.S. economy like we normally do, but I got a lot of good charts and data points to talk about. Hopefully chat's doing good. How are you guys? It looks like we got a bunch of good mornings. Good morning to everyone who didn't sell CleanSpark. I actually sold some. I sold 300 contracts. I still have like 4,500 or something, though. I'd have to look at all my accounts. So I still have a lot, but I sold like 70,000 worth or something, or I don't even remember what the number looks like. It's crazy how much they're becoming worth. I think briefly yesterday I was sitting at over $1 million before things went down. Or was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. One of the days. I think it was yesterday. And now I think I'm sitting close to $1 million, just a hair under it. This thing can swing a lot based upon the moves that are happening. So today could be another 15-20% day. Today could be $200,000 just off of CleanSpark with a 3% move. It's getting wild. Times are getting wild, guys. So you guys, anybody who held on to those calls for a very long time, or I should say this, some of the original ones I were buying were in September. Those turned to dust. But I am up officially $600,000 on this other set of contracts. So that dust means jack shit to me right now. Yeah, I don't think $100, but man, if it got to 50, wouldn't that be fucking crazy? We're at 1854 right now. Let me just pull this over. We're at 1854. We're in a breakout. We're technically above the breakout trend. It's pretty amazing, and that's if you're looking at the monthly time frame. So even if you're looking at the weekly now, we're above it. And so we could very quickly run to 24. I'll probably be out of, I'd say maybe 10 to 20% of my contracts by that time. Maybe 25%. And then by 33, I'll probably try and be out of 75% of my contracts. 70 to 75. That's kind of my prevailing thought right now. Always subject to change. I always post what I'm doing so you guys see it. And then 50, I think I'll probably at least be 90%, maybe probably 100, because the number that I'd get behind that is just millions and millions of dollars of profit just off of CleanSpark alone. How's the new school working out? We don't know yet. She starts next Tuesday because I think Monday's a holiday. So we'll find out how the school's going for my daughter. I do like it, though. It's like a Montessori-type school where they focus on trying to figure out what they want to learn. They focus on discipline. They have to clean up the place when they're done. They let them resolve their own problems. They let them win. They let them lose. They have agency and accountability for their life. And just like the video that we were watching, it teaches them things like where you put your attention is what you end up manifesting, right? So I think all of that is really positive, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to my daughter having a better education than she was. A bunch of woke bullshit and people that hate Teslas and just like the United Nations, which is kind of what it's looking like right now. Not a lot of cohesion in the one that she was going to. Alex Garcia, Jesse, where would you start getting out if you're only in shares? If you're only in shares, I mean, you can always get out. You could start at 24, right? Maybe sell 5%. Like lock in something. It feels good and it gives you cash for buying dips. But I would wait until at least 33 before selling a decent chunk. And then I mean, again, 175% move is a lot. That's a lot of movement. So if you get 175 from here, I mean, if you go all the way down, let's just bring this thing down all the way, right? So from where we were at the bottom in August 25th, 6 weeks ago, that is a 475% move. So if we got to 50, I wouldn't be that greedy personally. And if we got to 50, 175%, we're talking about a $15 billion company. I think that's doable, but that's a lot of money too. Guys, if you didn't know this, real quickly, we're going to jump out of the U.S. economy. I want to talk about some stuff here with CleanSpark. So first off, Mike Alfred. I don't even know what the full context of this is. I don't even care. He just says, this person's like, oh, Josh is a liar and an idiot. He's lost his mind. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know anything. He's made so many bad calls. I don't know who the fuck Josh is. I don't really care. What I care about is Mike Alfred said, not if he doesn't sell CleanSpark. So he said he has no money left anyway. And he said, not if he doesn't sell CleanSpark. And when Mike Alfred anoints you with that, you should recognize what's coming. I also want to say, let me see if I can find it. We did close the gap on CleanSpark. We had a pretty big one over here, so it was nice to have it come back down yesterday. This is crazy, though. Oh, no, this isn't it. But this is good. Matthew Schultz, this is the CEO of CleanSpark now. He said, we went asset heavy years ago when the in vogue move for miners was to get asset light and stack ASICs. So what he's saying was companies like Mara and many others weren't going vertical. Right? Josh Mandel bought calls on CleanSpark. Funny. It's probably because of people like Mike Alfred. He's probably seeing that and going like, oh, there's an opportunity here, or me too. I don't know, but yeah. So companies like Mara didn't go vertical. They didn't go vertical with their stack. And Mike Alfred had a comment about the companies that are really going to be profitable are HPC companies that go vertical. And I think he was talking about that in reference to Oracle and the fact that their revenues weren't that good for their renting out of their HPC, right? Their high performance compute. And I do agree with him on that. Also, Oracle has 500% like debt to asset ratio or some shit. Like they're in a really bad place financially, I think. They're just an old dying company. But these guys, they bought their land, they bought their data centers, they built substations, they partnered with utilities in multi-year, decade contracts. That's these power purchase agreements, too, where they can give energy back. We own our infrastructure, all while stacking 13,000 Bitcoin at gross of 54%. And then he said, like, zero equity dilution since 11/24. Now all you hear about is the value of land and power. It's almost like the perfect storm. 33 data center locations, 1 gigawatt of contracted available power, 1.7 gigawatt currently in their pipeline. Major cities, rural communities, more to come, right where we need to be. Stay tuned. That sounds exciting. Ted Petey, Schultz meeting with Scott. Yes, let's talk about that. So if what I just read wasn't exciting enough, let me see if we have it here. And I don't know. Maybe I don't have it in this one. Let me do this. I'll try and pull it up. Schultz. Besant. What? Let me just go to Schultz. We'll do it this way. I don't know why I couldn't find that. This right here is such a big deal. Just finished a small dinner with Secretary Scott Bessent and Chairman Scott. Wait, what the fuck? We talked about the market structure bill. Okay, that's cool. We talked about the economy. We talked about the 11 finalists of the chair of the Fed, and we talked about the strategic Bitcoin reserves. The U.S. holds about 17 billion of Bitcoin and will not sell and plan to continue to accumulate. Those things were cool. You know what's cooler? This is fucking cool. Being at the table, being in the room, talking about land, power, sovereign AI, talking about Bitcoin. the actual Secretary of the Treasury of the United States of America and the chairman of the banking committee care enough about what we do to sit down and talk about how they can help. We're so early, but we're about to arrive. No other crypto or AI folks. We're here. Just them. TikTok, next block. Fucking awesome. And yeah, Scott's a stud. I'm very proud of him. And he said some nice things to me the other day too. But I've always liked Schultz. I don't know about Zach Bradford. I kind of liked him too, but he seemed a little like, I don't know. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to disparage people. But it could be a really green day. This is such an amazing statement, guys. It is so fucking crazy. On that note, let's check some other stuff real quick. How greedy are we today, guys? Let's refresh. Let's have a green day, right, Ben? I agree. So we're neutral. We're not even near greed right now. And then the crypto, coin market cap. This is really the only one I look at anymore. I don't care much about this one. I don't think it's as reliable. I like the coin market cap and the metrics they use and their methodology behind it. I'm going to reject the cookies, though. So we're still neutral here, too, even though you can see that crypto, we talked about how stocks would start to underperform. Stocks were greedier before, and crypto was more neutral. But now that's starting to reverse, and I think that's going to continue to happen. I'm very excited about it. Ted said, my portfolio is like up so much, and we're still neutral. Bullish. I know, right? It's fucking, it's insane. We've got inflation that ticked up a little bit. What is it? 2.3%. 2.26, so it went back down again. What do we have for data points? Anything? We got Trump potentially doing the Insurrection Act. We got so many things happening. Politically, geopolitically, and economically, it is mind-blowing. Let's look at a few things real quick here. The 30-year mortgage rate is at 6.43, so it looks like it started to roll over a little bit again. That's good. Let me see here. The MOVE index is down. VIX is down. 10-year still looks like it's rolling over, 4.1%. All really beautiful stuff. What else do we have here? Anything? Mortgage applications are down. I mean, that makes sense. The rate ticked up a little bit. But again, here's what I want to point out. Oh, no, that's not a good one to do it with. Let me go back. I think the refinance index and the mortgage market index should be better examples. So the mortgage market index you can still see is very low. And if we zoom in a little bit here, we can see how it started to creep down again after rising. But we're abnormally low. Oh, shit. We got Jensen Huang talking right now. Is that true? Motherfucker. Now we're going to have to interrupt this episode to talk to that motherfucker. 1 second. We can't. Look at him. He's excited. Let's go back. We can't ignore the Huang on a topic about an AI gold rush. Come on. Come on. All right, here we go.
It's up another 1.3% this morning to almost $4,060 an ounce. Global spending on AI is...
Yeah, Metaplanet and other treasuries, Bitcoin treasuries are sucking. That really hasn't been the story on Ethereum with BMNR. Even though it did have a down day yesterday, it's done really well. And I'm not seeing any of that. I'm not really paying attention, honestly, in the Solana world because, again, I'm locked into SOLT. And I'm probably going to add more to that, maybe even today. I don't know. We'll see. But I do think Bitcoin treasuries are still going to lag. That has not changed. Good morning, team. Yes. Good morning, Sats. Florida. We got Powell today. Yes, sir. Chris DeSantis. Good morning. 1.5x catch up. All right. You should be there soon. See you then, Chris. Let's listen to Jensen Huang.
It's projected to reach nearly $1.5 trillion this year, and it could top $2 trillion in 2026. Joining us right now is one of, if not the key...
No, I'm not, Alex, because I've been doing this for a very long time. This is my third Bitcoin cycle, and I'm very ready to ride this wave. I've studied everything about Bitcoin, all of the historical data points and trends. I've studied all these companies. I've studied the macro. I've looked at everything. I've diversified my portfolio. I could make $7 million off of fucking ARKG between now and the end of the year. I am not worried. But I am doing this. I've got a list of about 6 companies right now that I'm looking to short. as a hedge, something small, 5 to 10%, just to, if the world falls apart for a period of like 3 or 4 months and everybody thinks the sky is falling, I want to be able to benefit from that as well, because I'd like to hedge myself against the risk and make it to where I'm just even richer, 10 to 20 million, and then add to that. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm not worried about it at all. Are you taking money off the table with CleanSpark calls? I'm slowly doing that. I'm looking, my targets are 24, 33, and 50 for the next price points. And I sell more each target we hit. Ted Petey, I'm like 19 years old, guys. This just feels that it's way too easy. You're actually starting at the perfect time, Ted, but you're right. You want it, if it gets too easy, if this keeps happening for too long, I'm going to be the person that's screaming that I'm selling when everybody else isn't. And then you'll know that you want to dial back a little bit if you want to be safe. But you're coming in at the perfect fucking time, dude. The perfect time. The money printer's going burr, and it can't not do that because the interest on our debt and every other country in the world's interest on debt is astronomical. And so they have to print. There's no choice. We've got AI, robotics, autonomy. There's so much pushing us forward. So many tailwinds behind us. You are, I don't want to say lucky, but man, it's fucking smart. And it is lucky that you're in this right at this time, but it's smart that you're doing it. And you're going to do really well, bro. You're going to do really well. I'll look at more questions in a little bit. Let's get to Jensen.
Player that's been driving innovation in the field, Jensen Huang. He is the CEO of Nvidia.
We'll talk about hedges more. I'm not looking to do it right now. I don't like being early. I'm always early on shit, especially with options. So I don't want to get people in at the wrong prices, but I'm probably going to ask the community more about hedges, and that will be something that we talk about a lot more in the not too distant future as we make more and more money. So we're going to be looking aggressively at hedging strategies.
A market cap of $4.5 trillion makes it the world's most valuable company. And Jensen, it is a pleasure to have you here on set.
So happy to be here. Nice to see you.
Not as happy as we are. Thank you for coming in today. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
I won't argue your point right now, Alex. Oklo is probably one on the list. I don't have it yet, but I probably should add it.
There are so many things that I'd like to talk to you about because it seems like every day there is this huge fire hydrant of news that's all about AI, and your company is at the center of most of that news. So if you don't mind, maybe we can just run through some of these headlines and you can explain what's happening from your perspective.
I'd love to.
Okay, let's start with the deal that you cut first with OpenAI that you've talked a lot about, that was then followed up by this deal earlier this week with AMD and OpenAI.
Ooh, good.
Got a lot of people trying to figure out what the dynamics are of this industry. What do you think about it? Did you know about that deal before it was announced?
Not really, but our deal is very different than theirs. We've been working with OpenAI through Azure, Microsoft, and OCI, and CoreWeave, and so through third parties for quite a long time. In fact, in 2016, I delivered the world's very first AI supercomputer called DGX-1 to a startup, a nonprofit startup in San Francisco, and that company turned out to have been OpenAI. And so we've been working with them for quite a long time. The OpenAI partnership is an addition to what we're already doing with them on the cloud. All of the cloud contracts, we're going to continue to execute on all that. But our partnership with them is quite unique in the sense that this is the first time we're going to sell directly to them. Until now, we've been only selling through the clouds. And so we're going to keep doing that. But the thing that's really exciting is that now, by selling directly to them, we could help prepare them for a day when they're self-hosted hyperscaler. And our agreement basically entails us selling entire systems and infrastructure to them. We're the only company in the world today that really focuses on building the entire AI infrastructure, from CPUs to GPUs to networking chips and switches of all kinds and all the software stacks that go along with that. And so we're quite a unique partner for them to be able to do this.
I guess the question becomes, it's great for you to sell directly to them, but they don't have the money to buy it at this point. That's why the deal was structured the way it is, where you'll get a stake in OpenAI over time?
They don't have the money yet.
Yeah.
And the way that it's going to happen, for every gigawatt of AI factories, you're probably going to need about 50 to 60 billion dollars for the land-powered shell and all the computing and networking and all that, everything that goes along with that. And they're going to have to raise that money through, first of all, the revenues, which is growing exponentially, equity or debt, and they gave us the opportunity to invest alongside other investors when the time comes. And so it's not something we have to do, but it's something that they're giving us the opportunity to do, and I would love to do. One of the things that we did, we invested in OpenAI early on. My only regret is that we didn't invest more. I mean, this is the most profitable, well, the most valuable startup company ever. And so this is a great opportunity.
You mentioned that your deal is very different from AMD's. AMD is in a situation where they're basically giving away a big chunk of their company to be able to be a partner with OpenAI and sell them some of their goods. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, I saw the deal. It's imaginative. It's unique and surprising. Considering they were so excited about their next generation product, I'm surprised that they would give away 10% of the company before they even built it. And so, anyhow.
That is a weird comment. Wait a sec. I want to go back here real quick. We're going to go back 20 seconds.
Yeah, I saw the deal. It's imaginative.
I want to see. I'm going to go back further.
So this is a great opportunity.
You mentioned that your deal is very different from AMD's. AMD is in a situation where they're basically giving away
weird
a big
isn't the
chunk
right
of their
word, but I
company
want to hear that
to be
full
able to be a
discussion.
partner with OpenAI and sell them some of their goods. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, I saw the deal. It's imaginative. It's unique and surprising. Considering they were so excited about their next generation product, I'm surprised that they would give away 10% of the company.
That is such a powerful comment. He is shitting on his cousin right now. Lisa Liu, or whatever her name is. He's shitting on her right now because he said if they're so excited about their next generation product and it's so transformative, he's surprised that they would give away 10% of the company knowing what they had. And so maybe it's not as wonderful as what they say it is. That is a damning comment. I would imagine AMD took a hit. I'm going to watch it. It's up 0.71% in pre-market. I'm going to keep an eye on the ticker. Yeah, it's a strong statement.
Before they even built it. And so, anyhow,
he's being really cool about it and like coy, but that was a pretty harsh comment.
Clever, I guess.
Yeah, I wondered the same thing. And Lisa Su, who, by the way, is a distant cousin.
Oh,
of yours,
yeah,
right?
she's terrific.
At AMD.
Yeah, she's terrific.
The way they've set this up, though, of giving it away, they're also making some big assumptions that their chips are going to be able to compete with your chips that are coming out down the road. Do you think that's the case?
Well, our chips are quite special, and we're running really fast. We're the only company in the world today that builds all of the chips inside an AI infrastructure. And today, back when we first started, 5 years ago even.
Guys, this first principle, like vertical stack, it almost always in the software and hardware industry, or when you have you would have a lot of different partners and be like all over the place. Vertical integration is like the best fucking thing you can do. It's very first principles. It's a beautiful thing. It just creates massive efficiency and edge and the ability to be able to have greater margins and drive down costs and create better products and move faster. It's the stuff like this that made Nvidia what it is. It's the same stuff that made Tesla what it is and Palantir what it is. And all the things that are really great, the companies that are really great on this earth are the ones that just continually try and look through first principles and identify how they can create the greatest amount of efficiency and reinvent things from their very core. Don't look at them as what they are and what they've been or what your competition has done. Literally start at the beginning and say, if we did this now, how would we do it? And it's just follow companies like this, invest in companies like this. Companies like CleanSpark, like we were talking about earlier today.
An Ampere chip or a Hopper chip is just one chip. Today, if you want to build one of these AI supercomputers, It takes a whole bunch of different types of chips to get the performance out of it because, Moore's law, the transistor itself is really slowing down. And we want to create those X factors of performance.
On that note, my SMCI calls are breaking out too. I'm up about 60% on them. And that looks like it's breaking out of a channel. We'll probably have to pull that one up too. I'm stoked right now, guys.
Increase every single year. And we're delivering these new systems every single year. And every year it's multiple times faster than the last generation. In order for us to do that, we have to optimize the entire AI infrastructure. That supercomputer is the most complex computer the world's ever made. And we optimize across all of that, design new chips every year. So one chip alone is not probably going to be able to deliver the type of results we do. But anyways, they're a really good company and we take them very seriously and we just kind of have to keep running.
Boy, he just shit all over her in like the nicest of fucking ways, right? So not only did he make his initial statement, which was pretty damning, like, why would you give away 10% of your company? But he's also saying like, hey, we do the full stack. They don't. There's just not going to get towards us anytime soon with the way they're approaching this. And he's saying that with a ton of confidence. Remember, this is his cousin. The competition is his cousin.
Fast.
Let's talk about vendor financing, because that has been something that has raised a lot of questions on Wall Street since you cut this deal with OpenAI. Yesterday, Bloomberg is reporting that you have a...
AMD hasn't moved too much. I want to pull that up super quick, though, because, again, these are pretty awesome and powerful statements that he's making. This is kind of fascinating. So we have bounced back hard. This is probably a launch point. Could we take a breather here, though, and do something like a cup and a handle? Probably. I still think I would have to imagine we test this upper line at some point, just with the way markets are going in chips. So you could probably still get to 300. But I don't know if I don't think it's going along. Lisa Su is literally Jensen Huang's cousin. Yeah, grok it. Isn't that funny? It's fucking hilarious. And he just shit on her on CNBC in like the nicest of ways, a very cousin way of doing it. So you could get like 37% upside, right? But it really has already made its trip. I mean, look at this. This thing was $76 and it's $212. Now, I'm not saying it can't go higher. If the whole sector explodes, it probably can. But what he said is probably also very true. What I would care more about is probably looking at the value of the entirety of the supply chain that Jensen Huang uses with Nvidia. Are there any companies within that supply chain or companies like SMCI, which I'm invested in, where they just do like the spin up and the setup of a lot of these data centers and things like that? And their guidance was like, okay, but these guys had a huge run and a huge run. Like look from over here in 2020, this thing was down to like 50 or 94 cents comparatively. Now it's $55. The recent high was 122. And what I believe is going to happen over the next, I've got calls that are like December of 2026 on this one. I bought them like over here or something when it was lower. But I've got, I think this thing can do, this sounds crazy, I know, 557%, because I think there's going to be so much building out in ways for SMCI to be able to capitalize off of that. Maybe like even new, I don't want to say industries, but like segments that they can get revenue from. So, and that wouldn't be crazy from where they were at. Hell, if they just go up, I mean, they were at 122. If they just go up to 212, I mean, 80, 90% over the next year and a half, that's 263%. And my calls can do 5x plus that number. So that's a 10x, man. So again, and do your own research on it. Like all these companies, you should look them up, right? I wonder if sound AI is going to be one of my shorts. I don't know. But SMCI, you can look here at a yearly basis, and this is pretty impressive. Now, these guys had a sordid past of like reporting and just all kinds of weirdness, right? Especially with like fiscal reporting. And questions behind them. But a lot of that's been resolved. And there was worries about their stock price and whether they'd be able to stay listed. Like all that stuff's been resolved. But if you look at revenue growth here, it's pretty good. And net income, pretty good. Went from cash flow negative to positive. Pretty good. They've still been diluting. their operating expenses. They're putting a ton of money into R&D. I actually love that. I love it when a company is spending 50% of their fucking money in operating expenses on trying to figure out what they can do better in the future. That's like ideal, especially with a company that's growing fast. If they're growing fast and seeing massive increases in revenue, I want to see them optimize after that and try and get it to where they can figure out, hey, what can we build? What can we do to make things better so that we turn this revenue into more cash flow and a higher net income? And I love that. Their forward PE is 21. Fucking 21. That is retarded. That is so cheap in the tech sector and in the chip sector right now, I think. Ali, didn't the CEO say they will be a $40 billion in revenue for full year 2026? I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. I didn't pay attention to like probably the last several earnings calls. I just haven't been putting time towards it. But again, I think that there's things like that. There's companies like this, and there's a lot of different things. ArcG is breaking out, and then I'm buying ARGT while it drops. We'll talk about that too. But like, look at this. This is so great. This is like, nobody's even looking at this. Nobody is looking at this. Nobody is talking about this. I've got all these other influencers that are talking about like BMNR, IRON, all the trades that are getting crowded. And I'm not saying BMNR is close to dropping at all. I actually think it's doing really great and it's going to continue to. It's got the Tom Lee effect. But don't you want to be in the thing that's just starting? SMCI. I mean, theoretically, I can't say that one's just starting, but it's at a breaking point for going higher. ArcG though, just starting. ARGT, I think that one is going down. So I haven't talked about this. I post a lot about Argentina, but I'm going to talk a little bit about trades today, guys. Sorry, maybe I need to make this into separate videos and like just have another jam session where we talk about companies in more detail and then throw in news. We might have to figure out something like that in the future. And Jensen Huang is still talking, so we're not done there. But I love what's happening with the ARGT right now. So it's dropping. I only own a small amount. I think it's like $25,000 maybe. But this is a double top, or a W bottom, just inverted, right? And so I think this thing can go down. The measured move for this, conservatively, I mean legitimately, of this breakdown is probably trying to test, I mean, at least to 58, to maybe this fib at 55, and then it's probably going to stop because it's going to find some support from dropping 2 fibs under the 200. Well, this is just the 3 days, so that doesn't really matter. Let's look at it on a weekly. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right time frame. Yeah, so we're underneath the 100 moving average. That gets us to the 200 on the weekly. That's a beautiful place to stop and bounce. So I think Javier Milei I think we get to this range and then we stop. So I'm buying the whole way down. I'm not waiting for that target. But I think that this is a good one that's going to happen in the future. I might actually flip my stock, some of it, 2 calls that are out a ways on Argentina, because I think that betting on Javier Milei, especially with the backing of the U.S. government, the $20 billion, thank you to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, I think that this is a great future opportunity. So this is not what I'm working on right now. This is what I'm looking towards in the future. So this is a fun one. We already talked about ArcG, and just the setup is amazing. We're finally breaking out from a downtrend. This says 1,731 days. Do you guys know how long 1,731 days is since the last top? This thing's $1.22 billion. What happens if $1 billion flows into it overnight? It's probably worth 3 or more, right? Because that's how the flows work. It doesn't have to be $1 billion in inflow that raises that brings up the price by double because it's 1.22 right now. It can bring it up 3x because people agreed to a new price that's much higher. And so on paper, it's worth a lot more. Well, if it does that, and it brings it up 3x, and we're up here to like the previous high again, I'm making, I think, somewhere around 10x, 8 to 10x the underlying asset on this one. So if this thing goes up 200%, I can make 2,000%. How fucking awesome is that? I can make $7 million off this trade if we just get up to here. If we get up to here, I'm going to make $7 million, most likely around that. It's vague figures because we're using options calculators. They only do so much. But this is insane. Like, there's so many opportunities right now to make a bunch of money. I hope people realize that. I hope you guys are excited. I hope, too, that you're going to stick around so we figure out what we're going to short the fuck out of. On top of going deeper into Argentina. I didn't go into this a lot, but again, their relationship with the United States is powerful. And we literally said, our Treasury Secretary said that we've got them. We've got them. Like, we're not letting anything happen to them. Fuck the International Monetary Fund. Fuck these central banks. We're going to support them no matter what. And I think that's amazing. I think that's worth a lot of money. So I look forward to going balls deep on some calls. And by balls deep, maybe like 5% of my portfolio at the time. Into this one. This is definitely on the list. It's just so exciting. Anyway, I'm rambling today. I apologize, but I'm having a lot of fun. So, and I need to move some charts around. SMCI, we'll put that one back. So again, SMCI I think can be fun. I think ARGT can be fun in the future. I think CleanSpark is going to be fun now. AMD, maybe a little more fun for a little bit. But damn, that sounded horrible today. Jensen Huang was doing them no favors. Let's listen to some more.
$2 billion in financing.
I haven't done options with ARC. Well, no. Oh, sorry. I was thinking ARGT. With ARCG. I don't know. Where's my session here? Let me see if I can find my session. I am in... I'm in November's, so I wouldn't recommend that. That's what somebody was asking earlier. They're like, I think the next group is like January. I don't think there's a December chat, if you could answer. So I think if I was going to do it, I normally wouldn't say do anything after December, but I would probably just give yourself a little bit of time. The last thing you want is for November 21st. I mean, that's almost December, but you don't want that to come around. Well, maybe that is a good date. I was thinking the contracts were like the first week or even second week of November. But if you look historically at Bitcoin's price action, I mean, that's giving you 6 weeks for it to perform. It's going to be a risk, but maybe something like that in something like January. Again, not financial advice. This is me talking out loud based upon my thoughts on what I would do. You guys are all fucking grown-ups, right? All right, let's go. I love talking to chat, but I also need to focus on some of this. So let's at least listen to Jensen. He's still talking, so we've got a lot we're going to catch up with on him.
You're going to be involved with XAI to help them with these same stories.
Yes,
but
X.
This idea of circular financing,
I want to hear about that. I want to hear about their latest investment with X too, and how they're doing the financing on that, and what they think about X.
Customers can't afford to buy these chips yet, so you're going to help them out with money along the way. That leads some people to think back to what happened with companies during
the dot-com bubble.
The big buildup, like a Lucent or a Nortel in the early days. Is this different, and if so, how?
Well, first of all, XAI, I'm super excited about the financing opportunity that they're doing. You know, the only regret I have about XAI, we're an investor already. Mm-hmm. The only regret I have is I didn't give him more money. You know, almost everything that Elon's part of,
I love it.
You really want to be part of as well. And he gave us the opportunity to invest.
All right, I hate to interrupt again. Cypher, I'm not sure. I've talked to Mike Alfred. I think he's still pushing it. If he's pushing it, fucking listen to him. He's done really well for a lot of people. I didn't guide people as well on Iron. He told I got out because I'd made a lot of money and I wanted to get it in other miners. That's going to turn out well now, but I missed a lot in the way of returns. So I would listen to Mike Alfred. Orbs, I wouldn't fucking touch it. It's disgusting. I fucking hate Sam Altman. I don't know what he's going to do with my retinal scan, and I certainly don't want him to have the world's retina scans. I think he's a murderer. I think he's sadistic. He tried to make it sound like he was a nonprofit guy, and then he drove around in a fucking Bugatti. That's the kind of person he is. So I wouldn't touch Orbs with a 10-foot pole. I know that Tom Lee's involved in it. I don't fucking care. Back to Jensen Huang.
That's the next AI. I'm just delighted by that. And so that's an investment into a really great future company, and I'm really excited about that. That's not vendor financing per se, but what's going on in the world versus what happened in 2000 is just dramatically different. You know, back then, as you recall, there were pets.com, hospitals.com.
Oh, he's gonna say a lot of the stuff I've been saying, but probably even additional valuable information about this.
I mean, all of the internet companies combined was, what, 30, 40 billion dollars in size? If you look at the hyperscalers now, that's where the first tranche of AI infrastructure is building. If you look at the AI, the hyperscalers, that's about $2.5 trillion of business that's already operating today. That business, that $2.5 trillion business, and the capex that goes underneath that is about, call it $500 billion. That transition from a classical CPU-based computing to now generative AI computing powered by GPUs, that transition is just starting. So we've got to build into $500 billion worth of capacity infrastructure that's already naturally growing by itself, and we're in the beginning phases of that.
It's a multiple
if you
on a
look at
multiple.
Nvidia's AI infrastructure business,
It's the way I like to
call
invest.
it a couple of $100 billion so far. We're a couple of $100 billion into a multi-trillion-dollar build-out. So that's number one. The second part of it that's
Yeah, it's just not comparable to pets.com. There's actual fucking revenues coming in for a lot of these companies, at least the producers for now.
really unique is that we have a new generation of AI companies.
And the demand isn't going away. It's just not going away. It's here's the thing. We're spending a lot of time on Jensen Huang, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting him too, but I want to get a point across. We're spending, it's existential. AI is existential. The winner, it's existential for the AI company's existence to be the best. You want to be the best on earth because, and if you can add stack hardware and you've got the fastest pace of innovation with software, let's see who's really good at that. I'm going to say Elon Musk. If you have that, you're going to be the best on the planet. I don't want to say it's a zero-sum game. That's not true. You can have specialties and other stuff, but it's kind of a zero-sum game as far as like, if you get in the lead, your ability to stay in the lead, and it's everybody wants to be in the lead is what I'm trying to say. Everybody has to be in the lead, and this will be an explosive blow off top. It's a national security issue. Yeah, we're competing with China, and so everyone wants to win. All the incentives are pointed towards winning. When all of the incentives, and I don't even think we've seen them all yet, but when all the incentives are pointed towards winning, what do you think the most likely outcome is going to be? A lot of winning. So there's no way we're in a bubble. A lot of smart people have given up on that. And we will be in a bubble. And you'll know we're in a bubble when the bearish, whatever, I can't even say the word, people are giving up and going long. And there'll be so many other indicators that are screaming it's time to start to pull back. Galaxy holds 7,000 BTC. Awesome. $100 stock. Nice. I got to look at that one more. I haven't really spent any time on it. But let's listen to Jensen here. I just wanted to get the point across. Everybody is pushing forward. This is just going to gain in momentum.
The new AI companies like OpenAI,
Rabini,
Anthropic,
totally.
and xAI, and companies that are well, Thinking Machine Labs.
The RAM, are you asking for the size? I use just look up the Apple, like the best one they have. The absolute best one. That's the one. It costs like $8,000, whatever that one was.
From Mira and Ilya Sutskever's SSI and Misha's company Reflection. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of amazing
Are we getting sketchy, or is the
AI
video
model
okay?
builders now. This generation of AI model builders,
okay.
What's happened in the last several months, a transition
Whatever the max one is.
happened that is really, really important. For the last several years, they've been generating tokens, these AI tokens, basically at a loss.
Yeah,
And the reason
128.
for that is because the early AI models they were super interesting, really captivated a lot of attention, but they weren't useful enough to pay for. The last several months, it's been very clear that the new technology is now reasoning, it's doing research. Before it answers a question, it goes on the web and studies other PDFs and websites.
It's getting so fast, guys. It's fucking crazy.
It can now use
Terabyte is different. That's storage space. Memory is 128. It's the max that they have.
tools,
I think I'm max storage space too, like fucking everything.
generate information for you, and it creates creates responses that are really useful. I use it every day to the point where now the
I do
tokens
too.
are profitable.
The
Yeah.
question, though, is who is
This is how I've been finding companies to short. I've been talking to fucking Grok. If you're not using Grok to answer your questions about investing when you can't get them from somebody like me, then you're doing this wrong. It can give you, especially as you learn to ask the right questions. But if you say things like, hey, Grok, and literally it's just about a good prompt. Hey, Grok, I'm worried about the economy and the stock market between now and the next year. Can you tell me what companies might have performed really well over the last year or period of time based on percentage or just, momentum, any of these things that could be good shorting opportunities in the future? And also, can you do a deep dive and give me some good input on why you made that decision? You can ask it that, and it will give you a robust and beautiful response. So if you guys aren't paying attention, yeah, Novogratz also got a Luna tattoo on his shoulder. If you don't know what Luna is, look it up. So if you guys aren't using Grok, you really have to. You have to, man. Give Elon Musk the money and learn about everything in life. You will never, ever, ever find a better tool for understanding the world around you. And it's getting better every day. So you're missing a huge edge if you're not using this in your life. I literally don't look up user manuals for anything. I just ask this chick on my phone, the Grok AI that I talk to, for help and what I need, and it gives me everything I need. You just have to know the prompt. It's the best source. It's better than support for a given company. All of support, if your job is in tech support, whatever support, you're fucked. Go do something else. It's already over. There's so many. It's going to be so much fun. Did you know Jensen and Lisa Liu are cousins? I think I did at least, and a few others do now. All right, let's keep going.
going to continue to pay for that build out? Is it the big companies like
that sounds fun, Matt. And sorry, I'll get to this. Do you do anything with app building and APIs for stock research? I don't right now, but that does sound fun. Maybe in the future I'll do that. I did work for a couple of software companies, as a project manager and as somebody who used to be like product expert and account executives and all this other stuff. And I got to see the inner workings of all of that, including the technical department and creating APIs for customers that we were trying to spin up and do projects for. So, I mean, theoretically, I know the people that could do it probably. And I've got the knowledge to be able to kind of manage a project like that. So that I don't know, maybe in the future.
Procter and Gamble? Is it consumers who are going to do this? I mean, my doctor showed me the AI that he's using, and it's incredibly helpful, but there's still a question about whether he's going to pay for it or the company he works for is going to pay for it.
Well, hopefully both. I think there's the consumer part of it. You know, a lot of OpenAI customers are consumers, and they're paying for it. But the thing that's really cool is that the enterprise AI build-out that's happening now, my favorite enterprise AI service is Cursor. Cursor is an AI coder. And every one of our engineers, 100%, is now assisted by AI coders. And our productivity has gone up incredibly. And so you're now seeing enterprise AI companies like Cursor, Open Evidence.
Boy, that company just got a huge shout out. He's talking about, though, that everybody is seeing improvement. And they're able to reduce headcount, which is great because Trump's getting rid of all the illegal immigrants, right? Maybe we'll have a further conversation about that in the future. But Trump's trying to get rid of all the illegals. In doing that, you're reducing the workforce. You're reducing the workforce while the demand for workers is being reduced. So we're kind of offsetting the unemployment rate by deporting illegal immigrants, where we don't, where they could potentially be taking jobs from people that are legal. I think that's probably one of the only reasons we're going after both massive criminals. Everybody's a criminal if they cross over the border illegally. All that's true, but that instead of, I think the humane thing and the smart thing politically to do would just be you closed the border and did a great job. just get rid of the bad guys. Focus on the bad guys. And make sure that everybody that you're getting rid of, there's a really clear justification to get rid of them. That would be the smart thing to do. But I think there's a deeper meaning here. I think what we need to also do is try and keep unemployment from getting too high. And I think one of the reasons we're kind of taking a broader approach is we're trying to reset a little bit, dial down the immigration because the birth rates are higher, and we want to maintain control and be stable as a governing society. And so I think there's some of that in play too on why we're doing the things that we're doing. Completely off topic. Back to Jensen.
I love Lovable. All of these companies are some of the fastest growing companies in the world, and they address enterprise. And so enterprise AI is here.
I wonder how you think about, Jensen, the ultimate destination where all this is actually building toward. I don't know, there was a post from David Conn, he's a Sequoia partner, this week saying, look, AGI is the only thing that can justify the volumes of capital spending right now, artificial general intelligence. At the same time, many of the model builders and experts are pushing out the date where that maybe is going to be achievable. Meantime, you're talking about annual generations of chips. How fast do they depreciate? We're putting all this capital in these data centers that it's just not clear, like when we get to the end, or is it just a treadmill?
We are going to have incredibly profitable and incredibly useful AIs long before AGI. And for example, right now, Cursor AI. You know, Cursor's AI software coder is incredibly useful. All of our engineers use it.
Can I go back?
We have some 40,000 engineers.
Oh, sorry about that.
Almost every one of them are going to use it, and they're loving it. And so
they're using it instead of something else, presumably, right? So these are displacing things.
Yeah, they're not. This is a brand new thing.
Yeah.
Remember, AI, unlike previous technologies are tools that humans use. Excel is a tool that humans use. A web browser is a tool that humans use. For the very first time, we have technology that can actually use tools by itself. And so Cursor uses, Visual C++, and now we have Gemini agents that are able to use the browser and browse for groceries or destinations or book travel for you, and it can use.
Just think about it, guys. You can use AI to make everything more efficient. They're saying that they're able to do like 50% more code generation, which means the companies are all moving faster. And it's not just here that that's happening. It's everywhere. Everybody is seeing that kind of improvement in the technology and in just their margins and in innovation and in time savings, and it's going to be so fucking crazy all across the stack. Small companies are going to be way more competitive than they've been in the past towards the big ones. It's going to get phenomenal, and it's happening right now.
It can use tools by itself. So this is really quite an extraordinary thing. This tool users, the tool industry is a few $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Tool user industry is $100 trillion. Which is the reason why everybody's so excited about the future of technology, because it could augment labor, it can increase the productivity of labor, and here at Nvidia, it's increased our productivity tremendously.
You've already said you would.
Everybody's worried about how bad the economy is going to get because of AI, robotics, and efficiency replacing people's jobs. But I think there's going to be such an abundance of wealth that's going to be created from all these flywheels that are engaging and combining into each other, that I think it's going to be nothing to create like some kind of universal basic income or something that I think should be more incentivized, where you do some kind of work if you're able to and not disabled, to help your local community even. I think there should be something like that, but I think everybody should have a place to live. Everybody will have the ability to eat and take care of themselves. It's going to be amazing. I don't think it's going to be as bad and as frightening as everybody talks about. It's going to be more like Star Trek.
Wish you could have bought more OpenAI and maybe invested more in XAI at this point. That implies that you don't think that this is all redundant. Because a lot of the players, I mean, if I read what Sam Altman says and the message he tries to convey,
Art, I don't know.
It's as if they're sprinting to try to stay
badass.
ahead of everybody else because they think it's not going to be room for everybody necessarily who's trying to do something similar.
I think there's general intelligence, and I think there's specialized intelligence.
Yeah.
We love when I hire engineers, I like them to be generally intelligent, and that's a great thing. But once they come to NVIDIA, we make them highly specialized intelligent so that they could build things that NVIDIA needs. And so I think the idea of specialized intelligence versus generalized intelligence will continue to happen. And where the real value for enterprises and companies are is specialized intelligence. And where the value for consumers, general intelligence.
Hey, Jensen, let's talk
so
a little
cool.
bit about capital allocation and how
He's
you
such a
see
smart
that. Just
guy.
back to those same
I
points,
have
that
so
you
much
wish you had
respect
more
for
invested in
Jensen.
OpenAI. You wish you had more invested in these other companies that you're kind of taking stakes in, like an XAI.
Which
you can do
options?
things with your money. You can choose to put it back into R&D. You probably don't need a ton with that right now. You can choose to build the company. You can
I gave the
choose
details.
to make acquisitions. You can choose to give shareholders back big dividends, or you can invest it yourself in other companies. And lately, what we've seen is a lot of investing in other companies. Do you have other deals like that planned in the works?
We're always looking for great startups to invest in. One of my favorite ones was CoreWeave.
Right.
My only regret is I didn't invest
Add that to the list.
enough. Yeah. And so in all of these investments that we've made recently, we've made some really terrific investments, and largely my only regret is that we didn't invest more. Because these are really special companies, and they're part of our ecosystem, building out the AI
Nvidia is going to be
infrastructure for the world.
I'll say this, loss on crypto. A lot of good comments, by the way. Nvidia is going to be all-around winner from this AI race, is what you just posted. I do agree with that. I think they're going to be right up there. But I do think even by 2030, maybe, you could see the valuations, maybe it's 2031 or 32, between Tesla and Nvidia flip. And I think Tesla is going to be the ultimate winner. But you're right. They're the best position by far. There's a lot of work for Tesla to do, but they'll beat them.
And AI is several things. AI is energy, AI is chips, the models, and the applications. And so you could see NVIDIA, and you could look at me working across that entire stack of ecosystems around the world. And we need more energy, we need more chips.
So much.
We need better models and more models. And we need
You got to remember the Sam Altman interview with all these guys standing on the stage. They said we need an order of magnitude of an order of magnitude of an order of magnitude. One company. That's one company. I don't think they're going to get there. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people right now, but I don't think they will. But that's one company. Think about XAI. Do you think Elon's going to be sitting back and slouching? I don't.
a lot more applications.
So what of your cash flow that you kick off, and Mike, I knew you ran the numbers, what is it?
I was just looking at the consensus, like 240 billion in free cash flow this fiscal year and next is what is.
So that's a lot of cash that you can choose to set to work. Mm-hmm. Do you look for other investments within the AI infrastructure? Do you look for ways to build out extra energy?
Do you want to buy any hyperscalers? Do you want to do any deals with like CleanSpark and Iron and all these other companies? Since you didn't get enough CoreWeave?
Do you look for somebody in quantum computing to get to the next thing that you could buy? What's in your brain at this point?
All of that. I'm excited about enterprise AI applications. And if I would have realized that the Cursor team was raising money before, I would have given them all my money. And so this is really terrific stuff. I'm excited about the work that Open Evidence is doing in helping digital nurses and digital with diagnosis. I'm excited about the work that Figure is doing in robotics. Wave is doing in self-driving cars. Wabi is doing in self-driving cars. And so there's just a...
It's interesting that he didn't say Tesla. Again, but his relationships and the business that he's doing, he's probably trying to foster the competition because that's in his best interest. Not to mention the dominant player that's going to destroy all these big companies.
An incredibly large set of new companies that are enabled by this revolutionary technology called AI. And so these new companies are going to be future giants, and it would be great to be part of them, support their growth, and be part of that journey.
There was an analyst who was on our program earlier this week, maybe it was late last week, who said after the OpenAI deal, they wondered how long it would take for the antitrust authorities to come looking at NVIDIA. I didn't quite understand that, dug into it a little bit. Reuters has put out something just saying that as all these big giants in the AI development world kind of team up and partner, it does raise questions about whether it shuts out new entrants. What's your response to that? What do you say?
All of these deals have to be done in a way that is fair to others, doesn't foreclose markets, and is not exclusive. Yeah. And so the investment that we make in OpenAI, we don't make it a requirement that they use that investment to buy NVIDIA's technology. They could use it to do anything they like.
And maybe the AMD deal that came just on the heels of that kind of proves that out, that it is not a single partnership that works in some of these things.
There are no exclusivities. The goal is to advance the AI infrastructure, support their success, and in many of these cases, to be part of that incredible journey for us. And it's great returns on our money, of course, but our primary goal is just really to support them and help them grow the AI ecosystem.
What?
Sorry, I'm spending so much time
again,
on this.
you
He's
were
just
surprised by the
invaluable to listen
AMD
to.
deal, but you look at it very differently. Do you think, as a competitive structure here, this puts any pressure on anything that comes through? What do you?
I don't think it has really anything to do with it won't affect anything that we do. I think our primary focus, our strategy number one, is to create a platform that increases performance, or another way of thinking about it, reduces token generation cost by very significant margins every single year. Now, of course, that pace of innovation puts pressure on the entire industry, all of our competitors and so on. But everybody benefits when we drive the cost of tokens down every single year. Between Blackwell and Hopper, we're going to drive down the cost of tokens 10 to 20 times. And so that's Moore's law, transistors alone.
That is insane. They're going to drop down the cost of tokens. For people who don't get the statement, a token is basically like a request, like, hey, you get access to this for this period of time. To drop it by 10 to 20x is it just opens up the world for what we're going to be capable of doing. Because with that reduced cost too, you're probably looking at reduced scope and size. And so you'll be able to do it on smaller, less capable devices. And devices are getting more capable every day. I just don't know where we're going to be in a few years. It's really, I don't think people understand. They underestimate the capabilities. Just think about where we were. Think about Will Smith eating his spaghetti thing that they did with AI 2 years ago with Chat GPT. And then what you can create right now with with Imagine. It's fucking insane.
Would have driven it down by 20%. Yeah. So instead of 20%, it's 20 times. And we're going to do that again and again and again every single year. We could do it because we change every single chip in the data center. We change every single technology all at once. And so my focus and the company's focus is just to keep that pace going. And when we keep that pace going, the ecosystem around us, when the token generation continues to decrease, the AIs get smarter. And when the AIs get smarter, we can use it for more applications, and we can drive more productivity into the economy grows, everything gets better.
When the AIs do get smarter, is that going to mark a transition away from just the hyper-intensive physical capital building part of this, where hardware is the entire, the entire game in a sense, right? I mean, it's an interesting thing when I look at how the Metas and the Microsofts and the Alphabets were looked at a few years ago. Oh, they're asset light. They don't have to reinvest in their businesses. They have massive free cash flow. And now it's about actually creating physical assets that are going to be productive down the road. Do we get to a point where it's now we reap?
No. And the reason for that is because forever, AI is going to be about thinking. And in order to think in real time, to understand the question, understand the context, maybe go do some reading and research on the internet, that thinking process requires a computer. That's the reason why I say there's a new industry. We've created a brand new industry called AI infrastructure. And these infrastructures will be like the electricity infrastructure, the internet infrastructure, and this will be permanent infrastructure for society, every society. And so this is a transformative time. And the way we deliver computers in the future, the way we deliver intelligence and produce intelligence is fundamentally different. The thing that you mentioned, which is really interesting, is when you look across the stack, when I said earlier, AI is energy, it's chips, it's infrastructure, it's AI models, and it's AI application. And in just one conversation, we've already identified that energy industry is growing. The chips industry, for example, we're growing. Infrastructure, Azure, OCI, AWS, CoreWeave, Nebius, these incredible companies, they're growing. AI models, OpenAI, Anthropic, X, they're growing. And on top of that, AI applications, Cursor, Open Evidence, isn't that right? We're literally seeing a complete revolution across that entire stack and opportunities across it. And to the extent that we have the financial capacity to do so and to be part of this this entire stack, we're going to participate across that entire stack.
Love that.
Jensen, you're not only looking at technological advances and thinking about how to do that, how to build this infrastructure, you have to be thinking about risks all the time, too.
Yeah.
What's at the top of your list in terms of risk assessments when you're looking at these things that pose a risk, pose a threat to the growth that you're talking about?
There's a post that I had. I don't know if I still have it. God, I really want to see it. Let me look at something real quick. I don't know if I have it like under my inspirational or investment basic thing. Let me see. Computer deal. No, I don't. Damn it. But it was about that this is the best it'll ever be, and it was talking about how we live better than kings did in the 1850s. If you look back to the early 1900s, the house I'm in was built in 1914. It had a horse hitch outside. It probably didn't have no air conditioning. Like somebody probably dropped ice off for the fucking milk. There was a milkman. If you think about it, we're getting better and advancing at such a crazy rate. And now what's sitting in front of us is faster and more transformational than anything we've ever seen before. It's not like the industrial age. It's like the industrial age on crack cocaine. And that is going to be phenomenal. What's sitting in front of us is phenomenal. We just need to make a lot of money over the next month or so. And then we need to hedge a little bit. And then we need to just enjoy the fucking ride. And that's what we're going to do.
Talking about.
Hey, guys. Yeah, if you could. Charlie said like and comment to help the channel out. If you guys could do that, if you're finding value out of what we're doing, please do that.
Well, there's a lot of technology risk, and there's a lot of, product design risk. There's a lot of those kind of things. But those kind of things are things we're good at.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, our company is good at building technology and building products. And so we're good at those things, and we're continue to be careful and thoughtful about doing those things. The things that are hard for us, that are new for us, are geopolitical risk.
Yeah.
And it's out of our control. And the best thing that we could do is just inform policymakers and governments about.
But honestly, the geopolitical risk, it will, depending on timing, again, 90% of the advanced chips plus are coming out of Taiwan still. So we need to fix that over the next couple of years. But China's not ready. I'm not worried about that. That's a 2027 thing. It really is. So if they go sooner, then they're just going to fucking fail quicker. So I'm not worried about the geopolitical risk there. But I do think, guys, that it's going to actually strengthen and embolden this country at a time over the next 2 years where we need it, where we need to build out energy. We're going to talk about energy. I've got great charts on that if we get to it. And then at the same time of building out energy, we're going to build out our AI infrastructure, both physically and virtually, and or via software, and so much more. Genomics, all these things. We're going to see we're at the start of an age of abundance, and I think it's way closer than people realize, and it's going to save all of us. If it doesn't, we're all fucked. So root for the other part. And put your money where you can benefit society and technological advancements so that we can do something great for this world and fucking save it.
About the nature of AI, why it's different than previous technologies, to be accessible to them, to be informative to them, and help them shape policies that are in the best interest of the world, the best interest of the countries.
So how far ahead of China
that's true,
do you think we are in terms of AI development that's point? How close?
Depending on which layer of the stack, but overall, I would say we're not far ahead. If you look at the entire stack, they're way ahead on energy. I am so happy that President Trump leaned into pro-growth.
That's the one thing where they're doing really great. That, and they've got built out manufacturing. They do not have the advanced technology that they are required to have to really build out their chip sector. They're trying. They're using the black market as much as they can to advance their technology, but it's just not easy to do at scale. And so they're struggling there, but they do have massive amounts of power, way more than they need, which is actually kind of also a problem, and along with many that they have. But I do think, I think we're going to crush it. I just wanted to make those points.
Pro-energy growth so that an entire industry above it could grow. If you could just imagine, without President Trump's pro-energy policy, that entire layer above the energy would have been constrained. China's well.
So imagine what happened, what would happen with further continuation of Biden performance on energy, trying to cut back on energy costs, what Kamala Harris would basically continue doing, probably on crack. They'd be doing the European approach, turn off the nuclear reactors, all this other stuff. And don't get me wrong, batteries and solar are good, but they're just not where they need to be right now for the scale of what we're looking to do. We need to use every form of energy. We need to be pro-energy across the board. The administration is not perfect on that from the renewables and battery side. I think that'll get better over time. But I do love that we're very pro-energy in comparison to what could have been. We're still in the right timeline.
Ahead of us on energy. We are way ahead on chips. They're right there on infrastructure. They're right there on AI models. Our models are better overall. OpenAI's is better, Anthropic's is better, Gemini's better.
He's not saying
However,
X.
their open source
He's not saying
models
X.
are well ahead of us.
That's
and
interesting.
then on the application layer, we have to be quite mindful because their applications are very fast moving. Their society is very quick in adopting new technology.
That's true.
They're under-regulated they don't regulate heavily at the industrial level. And so the applications in China are advancing incredibly fast. This is an area that I'm quite concerned about. I hope that American companies and American society are going to be fast in adopting AI applications because ultimately this industrial revolution wins at the AI application layer.
I agree.
At the diffusion layer.
I agree with that.
There was an analyst just this week who said that he's anticipating China will get Nvidia's Blackwell chips by as early as next year. Do you think that's the case? If we are way ahead of them in chips, what should our strategy be?
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's
give
true.
Them
We're going to dangle
better
that
chips,
shit.
Or risk having them build their own chips that are better. But if we hold the advantage here, how do we, as Americans, think about this?
That's right. This is
That's
where
what he wants.
A nuanced strategy is necessary. And we have to take a step back. President.
He also has to watch what he says here because if he says the wrong thing with China, he's in deep shit.
Trump had a AI Action Plan Day.
By the Chinese government, not the U.S.
And that AI Action Plan Day, he was very clear and is a very thoughtful and very
as you can see from his wording.
America win around the world strategy. Ultimately, he wants America to win the AI race. So the question, when you take a step back and ask yourself, what does that mean? At the chip level, you want to have the most advanced chips. We want to make sure that United States and American allies have the most advanced access to the most advanced AI chips. On the other hand, in order to win the AI race, you need to have all of the world's AI developers to be building on your platform. Just as if you're an app store, you would like all of the apps to run on your app store. If you're an operating system, you would like all the world's applications to run on your operating system. If you were a chip, an American tech stack, you want all of the world's AI developers to developing on your American tech stack. That's true whether we're here in the United States or whether it's developers in China. So this
from a defense
nuance,
perspective, we don't want them having the chips that are as great as we are because we don't want them having access to that, particularly when it comes to the military.
No government, surely Chinese government, is going to be building their defense on Western technology.
True.
Nor does the Pentagon use Chinese chips to build our national security. And so they have plenty of chips
really
themselves.
good point.
Don't forget that this is a country not without any chips.
So here's what he's saying, and he'll probably get to this point too, but I want to make sure it's covered. They have lots of power. They have less powerful chips, but when you do the math, they can create a lot more power on those chips by volume, and having access to power. So he's making that point.
They have Huawei. They have really, really sophisticated and really entrepreneurial startups building AI chips. They're manufacturing lots of chips. And so the fact of the matter is their military has plenty of access to their own chips. What we need to do is find a nuanced strategy that allows the United States to stay ahead, but for American tech stacks to be used all over the world so that the world builds on the American standard.
Are we on the way to being that global standard?
That's a pretty eloquent argument, I got to say.
I mean, you keep hearing about sovereign AI, and it seems as if there are these interests in creating parallel kind of AI ecosystems.
If we don't win around the world, someone else, if we preclude other people from building on the American tech stack, they'll have to use some other stack. I think David Sachs had a really simple KPI. He said, in 5 years' time, if the American tech stack is 80% of the world, then we are doing a good job winning the AI race. If the United States is 20% of the world, then we've lost the AI race. Now, one of the things that's really important is that developers are all over the world. 50% of the world's AI researchers are in China. China is 30% of the technology industry, technology market. The Chinese market is large. They've got 1 billion users.
Yeah, but they've got an economy that's getting ready to collapse.
Easily decide to walk away from. If your ultimate goal is for America to win the AI race, giving up 30% of the world's market right from the get-go, and then not allowing American technologies to diffuse and be proliferated around the world, we are essentially isolating American technology into America and forfeiting and conceding the rest of the world to everybody else. And I think President Trump would say that that would be not a condition for America to win the AI race. And so we have to find a nuance.
He's really, really good at how he explains his thoughts and just the time that he puts into it.
On strategy that allows America to have the best technology, earliest technology, but also to win AI developers around the world and win AI markets around the world.
I think you also want to be bringing in and working with the best talent. And to that point, you put out a memo to your employees yesterday about the H-1B visas and the new government requirement that it's going to cost $100,000 on top of it to bring someone in from China or from India or from elsewhere.
What did he say?
What is your policy with that? What do you think of this new step in it? I know you've said that you're going to step up and go ahead and pay those to bring people in.
Immigration, I'm an immigrant. Immigration and
we're very glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Immigration is the foundation of the American dream. This ideal that anyone can come to America and through hard work and some talent be able to build a better future for yourself. My parents came here because of the American dream. And
I don't think, I just want to clarify something that I disagree with Jensen Huang on. He said that anyone can come to America and have the American dream. No, that's not ever been the case. You got to work for it. You can't be a bad person. You can't do fucking horrible things. You can't be slowly invading our country. You can't be overwhelming our system by coming in illegally and making it to where the replacement rates for everything are just so chaotic and all the social costs are so chaotic. Not everybody deserves the right to be here. It is a gift. That's what makes it the greatest country on earth, is when you realize that it's a fucking gift to be here. And so not everybody gets access to that gift. It would be nice to open it to more, but it's not, it's a privilege. It's not something we can do. We can't have the entire fucking world come here. The math does not compute. So the only thing I'm going to disagree with him on vehemently is the fact that it's not a right for everybody to fucking be here. It's a privilege.
Wanting us to be able to enjoy the opportunities and this incredible country that is America. And I think this ideal and this dream is common around the world. Only America has a phrase that says the American dream. There's no other country that has something other, some other country dream. And so we would like to create this opportunity for all of our employees, and I hope that this opportunity persists for everybody else. I do think that President Trump's H-1B policy enables us to continue to attract the world's best talent and enable them to come to American companies. And for all of these foreign students who come to the United States, gets an incredible American degree and one of the best educations in the world, to create the conditions by which we can have them stay.
I agree.
I think it's a first step. There are things that I would love to see that enhances the policy, so that there's still some opportunities for serendipity to happen.
CT.
For example, I don't think that my family would have been able to afford the $100,000. And so the opportunity for my family and for me to be here
Yeah.
would not have been possible with this.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I totally get that. But we have a volume issue where we can only take in so many new people, especially ones that have differing societies and beliefs at one period of time, and still maintain what America is and why people are coming here.
With this current policy. And so I'm hoping that there will be enhancements to it. And I think this is just a first step. And President Trump is always pragmatic. And, I think that it'll be enhanced over time. But
I like what he's saying, though. He's a thoughtful dude.
You mentioned, just quickly, $4.5 trillion market cap. Your employees created that value and are also beneficiaries of that value. How do you run a business and maintain a culture when so many of your employees have done so well financially and keep them motivated and such?
Yeah, half of your employees have a net worth of more than $1 million, and I think...
Oh, we lost it. It means that the live must have rolled over from too much pausing, so I guess we're done with Jensen Huang. I'll let you guys know if there's anything else that was interesting about the conversation, but I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. S. Ramani, H-1Bs are only $100,000 a year. Average salary is over $100,000 a year as well. So there's some abuse, surely, but largely success. This will be, what's great about it is it's going to be a lot of money that people are having to pay to bring over the best talent, not just cheap talent that you're paying $50,000, $60,000 a year because you got some poor Indian laborer who's willing to work their ass off because they want to work for the hope of getting to stay in this country. With the current lottery system that we have, legal immigration needs to be a lot better, and we shouldn't be taking people kind of hostage for the opportunity to be here and just use it as cheap immigrant labor, whether it's at the top of the stack or the bottom. I don't care. We can do better. All right. Anyway, let's get back. We haven't done anything yet. Let's go to U.S. economy. I'm going to try and get through some stuff here. Germany has seen its sharpest decline since early 2022. I know this isn't the U.S., but it's important. In August, output fell 4.3%, largely due to an 18.5% drop in car manufacturing, according to Status. Weak factory orders and slowing China's sales highlight struggles. This is something that Tesla is not having a problem with. I just wanted to point that out. Kobayashi letter says the bottom 50% of U.S. households have benefited from the historic market run. The value of equities held by bottom 50% surpassed $500 billion for the first time. We talked about this a little bit last week, but I want to make sure that I make this comment. The bottom half of society is actually, they're struggling, but a lot of them are also seeing their net worth grow because these people, especially the younger ones, probably like Gen Z and maybe a little bit up, are benefiting from investing, or just people that are coming around. I'm not 100% clear on what that demographic is. It's probably from like young to my age that are coming around to the fact that they need to invest. And if they don't invest, they're getting fucked. Or maybe it's just everybody across the entire spectrum of the demographic time frame. I don't know. But look at this. Look at what happened after the pandemic. I think people, you know what I think happened? I think stimulus checks gave people extra money. I think some people bought stupid shit with it. I think other people invested in Robinhood or something, and they got some fun out of the GME thing, or they were in for the Bitcoin or the Dogecoin or some shit, right? And I think they got hooked, and they made some money, they lost some money, but either way, they were fucking hooked, and they didn't let go. And so now you got these bottom people, these people that are watching YouTubes like this shit, are investing where they wouldn't have if those things didn't exist. So I think the gambling and the speculation, argumentatively, was a good thing because it allowed people at a lower income spectrum to realize the power of compounding wealth. And I love that. So it's maybe not as grim as people think it is. Belt Fed Tommy, you can talk in chat now. Thank you very much. Loss on crypto. Yeah, I got a kid who's interested in investing, but seems like they're definitely into crypto. Yeah, and so I know friends where they've got kids that gamble, but then they're starting to gamble on stocks because they lose in regular gambling. And so they're actually like moving towards things that can make them money. And if they learn how to hold it long enough and not to day trade and do stupid shit, I think that could continue. And I love that. It's good for the world, for everybody to enrich their wealth. I love that. Real quickly, I wanted to talk about this. People talk about how healthcare is expensive, right? Look at this shit. Look at what happened, especially after 1990 for administrative growth. Admins, not people doing actual fucking work on human beings. Look at this. The green line is down here. Look at how little that's grown as far as a percent of growth over time, right? But look at the amount of administrative growth that's occurred. Really, probably, I don't know, what was this, DRGs? I don't even know what DRGs are, but there was some kind of like ramp up into HIPAA. And then again, we've got all these other regulations that have come in afterwards, Obamacare, just all this shit. And look at the costs. Don't tell me that we can't make massive changes in governmental regulation within the healthcare section to lower costs. You can't fucking tell me that. You can't fucking tell me that. You know a company that actually works with software for medical infrastructure? Palantir. It's this little tiny company. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they do all this stuff. Could they be a benefactor of reducing the overhead and deregulating and government contracts? Could they be a benefactor of fixing this? Maybe. Would I mind looking at the Dow? I could look at the Dow, but I want to get through stuff too. All right, Goldman hikes gold forecast to 4,900 as Ken Griffin worries about substantial de-dollarization. I actually love de-dollarization. I think that's a beautiful fucking thing. We want to weaken our currency so that we can actually do more manufacturing here and make the world dependent on us. The world needs to be dependent on the United States of America for fucking everything that matters. For all of the latest technologies, they need to be dependent upon us. And that's what we're going to work to make happen. But they show gold futures going up around 4,000. People are saying it could go to 5. I don't think that's crazy, but I think what's going to outperform from here is Bitcoin. The Bitcoin gold to gold ratio is going to get a lot fucking better. And let's look at it real quick while we're on that topic. Let's pull it up. I think it's going to get a lot better if I can get this in the right screen. There we go. So again, we ran some fibs, right? We looked from bottoms to tops, back over, and just did that over and over again to kind of see where things topped out. So look at this. Right over here, it was when it established a new high in the BTC to gold ratio that we really got a breakout. And boy, was it fucking something. And then over here, again, it was when we broke that trend line that, wow, we really got something. Guys, we haven't really done it yet. We've got an inverse head and shoulders here if you look at it. And I can draw it out and make it look prettier if you guys want. I can definitely do that. But let's just look over here. And I will maybe, because that's probably not a bad idea. But like, we could see a 134. A 134. And so what I'm saying is gold could still go up a little bit, but Bitcoin's going to go up like fucking crazy in comparison. What are my thoughts on Tesla? Pretty positive. I got stuff to talk about there too. Let's keep going though. We'll jump into Tesla next after this. But I won't go too into depth with this. But again, I do think they're right. I think that gold is going to do well. We need batteries ASAP, says Farzad. We need nuclear ASAP. We need solar ASAP. We need everything ASAP. Demand is greater than supply. This is referencing U.S. electricity prices and the fact that they've climbed a lot. I want to make the argument that some of that cost, just after the pandemic, all the way up to about here, was a natural impact of all the money printing that's going on. But we have the problem right now where we've got really high demand, and we're going to be fighting against that for supply for a while on energy. But man, are we going to see a lot of companies being born right now. Start of the dot-com bubble, guys. But this entire move right here was just the 40% growth in the money supply, and then the money supply has grown a little bit after that. So I think it's more tied with the money supply and not so much a sign of supply and demand issues. It's starting, but I think they're just getting ready to go up. So I don't know. I've got to figure out the energy play behind this because we've already seen a lot of things run. Is it going to be those things? Is it going to be something different? Maybe I need to find the right grok prompts to figure that out. But I'm going to try. Ryan Detrick. And we will get to Tesla, though. The bull market turns 3 this Sunday. Just a reminder that the 5 previous bull markets going back over the past 50 years that made it this far along, kept going. Shortest was 5 years. The average was 8 years. And 2 made it to double digits. So what he's saying here is we could actually make it to 2030 or 2032 or even longer before we see a major decline. You got to think about that. I mean, if we make too much money, you got to think about you're doing some kind of short hedging too. But you got to think about that. That's pretty positive. Charlie Bolello said 56,000 U.S. home purchases were canceled in August. That equates to 15% of all homes under contract. That's the highest cancellation percentage record on the month of August. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Let's think about this real quick. So first off, you can see a trend where it's going higher almost every year since 2021, right? This one year, 2024, retraced just a little bit from like a new record cancellation rate. But we're going to see more cancellations. Why? Like I canceled. I backed out of a $1.1 million home, right? Why did I do that? I did that because home prices were going to come down in the spring, and I knew that. And I knew rates were going to come down too. More people are getting that message now. This cancellation rate is probably going to go higher. More inventory is going to start to stack up. People are going to start selling their homes because they want to lock in the highest price, and they're getting scared because they're seeing all these price declines. And they didn't do it over the last, like, however many years. They haven't sold. They need to sell. They're getting old. They need to move on. You're going to see a lot of that and just people chasing. I also wanted to talk to this, U.S. soybean sales to China. I don't know if everybody knows this, but there are things where China has stopped buying our goods, right? This is a trade war. So this is one of them. So we need to fix this for farmers. We're looking to do it with cash. Geiger Capital. It's not that gold is going up. It's the denominator is being rapidly debased. This is the money printer go burr, right? It's fucking us pretty hard. And you can see it. It's not a new concept. You can see where it was fixed after the Great Depression. Fixed it for a while. Some of the worst time in history. But this is an interesting chart because this is a consumer price index for all urban consumers, purchasing power of the consumer dollar and U.S. city average, right? So what's fascinating is we did all the wrong things during the Great Depression. And by that, I mean we didn't support the banking sector. That's why you have Christmas movies that show bank runs where people were all trying to get their money out because the banks didn't have it. And so whoever was at the end of the line was fucked. Like they weren't supporting the banks and they weren't doing any money printing. There was a lot of, and they were doing a very like close yourself off from the rest of the world tariff policy. And this is an argument I made back in April when we were talking about our tariffs in May of this year. But this was horrible because they were doing everything you could do wrong. But then look at what's happened since. So the dollar, the money, the consumer, the purchasing power of the dollar. So we had this period from 1929 all the way up to what, like 1935 or 6 or something, like a long period of time where the purchasing power got better, but it was through one of the most painful periods in history. But look at what's happened since. We just print. There's not even a ripple, right? And the ripples do get bigger when they move into the other part of the timeline, but this is a significant difference. And look over here, like the 30s, you had like this little bit of time where it rebounded again. And then it's been down since the 40s. It's just basically down. One little blip over here, just down. And we're going to see more of that. We're going to keep printing and keep debasing. And I hope people understand that. I wanted to make this comment. So somebody said, this said Trilogy Metal stock TMQ goes up over 210% after the U.S. government announces it will be taking a 10% stake in the company. U.S. government's portfolio is rapidly expanding. People are like, is this good? Are we turning into a socialist communist country like China where we're starting to have the government involvement in all these companies? I'm going to say no. So Scott asked me about this one. He said, that seems to be by design. What are your thoughts about government owning public companies? I said, I think the same people that hate the idea also praise China as having control and board member seats for all major companies, who has control and board member seats. So what I'm saying here is we don't have that in the United States. They're not getting control over these boards. They're not looking to do that. They don't want a board seat. They're looking to invest in companies and incentivize investment in companies to stimulate growth in sectors that they deem that we need to catch up to China in. I think that is good. And I think if they put this stuff in a sovereign wealth fund, that helps grow us out of our debt, just like the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve will do, even though it's got a different name and a different purpose. It will help with that a lot over time because of the rapid growth of Bitcoin. But I think that this is all good. I think this is all good for now. We haven't done anything that's bad. I think we're still following the lines of capitalism. I do think it sets a dangerous precedent of control for the government in the future, though. And so that could be a problem. Let's skip U.S. economy for the rest here. Let me see. I'll see if there's anything else that's interesting. Sometimes this thing resets. Nah, we'll skip it. Let's move on. Let's go to Tesla. So we had Tesla over the weekend here. I want to talk to that. Where are we at Tesla? Right there. So Stephen Mark Ryan said Tesla, only profitable EV maker. Model Y, world's top-selling car, 3 years running. And now they've cut the price by 11 to 13% off their entry levels, taking some stuff away, but you're getting an amazing car. The average price for a car, I thought it was 44. It's 49,000 and change for the average price of a vehicle. They're selling the Model Y for 39 and change. So you're $10,000 cheaper than the average selling price of a vehicle. You can get the 3 for 37. Future next-gen modular system to slash vehicle costs. So again, the Cybercab is going to get way cheaper, and then just them refining their other products. We're basically seeing the product lineup, guys. They're going to add like probably a van type thing in the future, not just the big Cybervan that they had that's like a bus, but they'll probably add a van too. But they're basically done. This is what we're going to get. They're just going to be refined and made better and maybe like a product redesign. But this is it for vehicles, I think, until they do some, like at least for a while. We've seen the change that's going to happen. We'll get the Roadster. We got the Semi already. But there's not a lot more coming. Mid-wit Tesla shareholders, wow, they not just skip to be next gen by pressing magic button. I agree with his statement. Tesla, Shanghai, super factory delivered more than 90,000 vehicles in September, with sales in these Chinese markets topping 71,000, up 25% month over month. So numbers in China are improving. Stifel raised their price target for Tesla from 440 to 483. So Tesla sold off 4.5% almost yesterday. The chart on it looks beautiful. I think we've actually hit the bottom. So look at where we consolidated. We consolidated on the breakout line of the last 4-year trend. So we broke above it. We hit the .618 golden retracement zone. If you guys know how much I love the golden ratio, you understand what that means. I told you it would drop from here. It did. It fell down to here. I think we have bottomed. We're confirming the bottom right now, and we're getting ready to go higher. So I really like the way Tesla looks from a technical perspective. I think it looks great. And let's just keep going here. So we got price targets raised. I think that's the opposite of what people expected. Triangle had a good post. For the people with a brick between their ears, EVs all just got $7,500 more expensive because of that tax credit went away. But I want to say something else before we go over the rest of his points. That's not including the tax incentive we're going to have for interest on cars. I don't know if it's just going to be new loans. I'm assuming it will be. That will, if you're paying interest on a car that is an EV, or a regular U.S.-made car, whatever it is, Teslas are all 100% U.S. pretty much. You'll be able to get a massive interest tax write-off at the end of the year for owning a Tesla. So that's a benefit. So all the cars got $7,500 more expensive, except for GM and Ford have found some loopholes that allow them to extend this out until December. So you won't really see all this until January. But the total addressable market, that's what TAM is, shrank as a result. It will in December for a lot of companies. It's shrinking for some right now. Tesla and no other company made a model to regain that portion of the said TAM. True, they haven't done that yet, and they won't be able to. Autonomy will add a value, but again, we'll see a lot of those results probably in December too. Autonomy will add value to these vehicles the entire automotive industry has never seen before, and we just got our first look at it at last night. Again, a lot of the benefits of this haven't even come. They're going to come in December. Cheaper sectors of the auto market will be served by autonomy over car ownership. Autonomy is taking off in a major way. 14 is going to be amazing. I've already seen it. We're going to look at some of those posts. Checkers thinking that doesn't work in a chess future. I agree 100%. I think that was a really good post. Thank you for your work. Let's look at some stuff here. So we've got Sawyer Merritt. His car is going to pull over. because a police car is coming at a high rate of speed. And there's another one still coming. This is autopilot. This is or FSD version 4.14.1. It's still sitting. Look at that. It did all that. It did all that. That is fucking amazing. I don't care what you said. And for the people who don't understand how good this price is right now and how much the world has changed since the pandemic, look at it right here. So Elon, back in 2006, was promising that the Model 3 could get down to $30,000 price point. Well, $37,000 is what we're at today. But if you look at the rate of inflation in vehicle ownership and the costs, it was $23,000 in 2006. That's the comparative, right? So essentially, he did $7,000 better, and people are bitching about it. Are you fucking retarded? So to the people that are bitching about it, like, you just got to be smarter. All right, let's see. How hard is it to engage full self-driving? It's that hard? Is that hard? Is that hard for you guys to do? Is it? What else can it do? I don't know. Let's look at our boy Chuck Cook. Chuck's famous left turn. Let's see how hard it is to have this thing go to its destination and find a parking spot.
Okay, although this is kind of a boss problem here, this is the function of a Tesla, right? Going to the supercharger and parking. Auto park is, what we had before, and this is now FSD 14
Notice how he's barely paying attention to what's going on, because that's just how good it is nowadays.
parking, which is a different stack. We do have a school bus here. It's not driving. No stop
It's
signs.
in a
It's
parking
slowly
lot.
just treating
There's
it
a
like
person on the left.
a blocked car. There are a couple spots open, and let's see what it decides to do.
This is insane.
It's got a left blinker on.
So quick. So quick.
Notice how it's not doing the parking stack.
Look at that.
Oh
Watch
my
this.
God, that was like a one shot.
Normally
One
it has to
shot.
back up and go forward. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
This is
Holy
fucking
smokes.
awesome.
That was
So you can literally walk out to your car, and if your calendar already has the destination synced in for your schedule, you just press the button and go, and then it goes there and it parks. That's what we're talking about doing right now. And Elon said before the end of the year, you'll have 14.3, and it will feel sentient. If you guys don't know what that word is, you should probably look it up. Real quickly, I'm probably going to hit the restroom. Let me do this. Got to take care of stuff. I've had a lot of fluids. Let me just see if I can get CNBC going in the meantime. You guys give me 1 second here, and then I will be right back. Let's listen to Jim the Dumbass Cramer for 1 second. Thank you very much.
There are people who are trying to disintermediate. There's Cisco versus Broadcom. Everyone wants a piece of the action. Very few think like Jensen that it's so big everyone's going to get it. But I agree with Jensen. It is so big.
That was one of the remarkable things of this morning's interview is mentioning companies that he says will be giants that we've not yet really heard of yet.
No, and I'm like sitting there. I'm thinking, oh my God, open evidence. Is that going to disintermediate law firms? No, it's going to disintermediate hospitals. Even just a year ago, he did not have that list because I said, listen, can I please tell me who is going to do the disintermediation? And he said, it's going to happen, Jim, and it is happening right now.
Dell's the other really interesting story. Michael Dell was on Closing Bell yesterday talking about the future of data center construction and demand. Melius today says EPS long-term growth probably goes from the 8s to the 15s. Multiple goes to maybe to 15 times.
Michael Dell popped into our meeting. And I was, just congratulating him because this thing deserves a much higher multiple after what happened yesterday. It gave up a lot of the gains, but they presented a story where they basically doubled the growth rate. And to me, that's that's a clarion call that you got to go buy Dell. It's not an expensive stock. Michael Dell and his family bought it.
All right, we're just going to meet this fucker. All right, I'm watching Bloomberg. I got to sign up for Bloomberg. I still haven't done that. That's something I'm going to work on, guys, is getting that set up. There's other stuff. Let's see if there's anything else to talk about. Oh, he said 14.3 rolls out in a few weeks. We'll see if that happens. But by the end of the year, you will have a sentient being, and you can get that car for as cheap as $37,000 and change, and an $8,000 upgrade or a subscription fee. I think that's what it is. $100 a month. You can get full self-driving. Just imagine that. The barrier to entry is like $45,000, $46,000 for a car that can drive itself. People are going to realize what that means. Also, the Tron robot, like, just look at this. This is so fucking cool. They did this as a promo. Tesla is doing advertising. Remember how everybody wanted that? They got it. Oh, market's open. Okay. This is just phenomenally cool, though. And I don't know. There's another video that was out there where he was dancing with the thing. Let me see another. There's so many people that are raising price targets on this. Let me see if I can find it, though. I'm going to say Optimus. What is that guy's name? Optimus. What are the words I'm looking for this search? Optimus Tron. Let me just do Optimus Tron. Keep it simple. And then look at the media. This is a good way to search on here, guys. Yeah, so look at this. This is fucking hilarious. Look at this. Yeah, Jared Leto. That's fucking awesome. I'm sorry. Like, people are going to start realizing what's coming. Can you see that? Can you see how it's becoming more real and in your face? There's a Cybertruck sitting in the fucking mall near my house. There is a Cybertruck in there. They never used to do this. They never used to advertise. They know it's time, and they're doing it. And I think people are underestimating how much people are going to learn about Tesla and word of mouth and from their friends. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really awesome, guys. I'm excited about it. Let's see what else we have under AI and chips real quick. So again, XAI getting a $2 billion investment from Nvidia is just a drop in the bucket. I thought they were going to talk about that more. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it came later. But with Tesla tapping Samsung as their AI 6 chip designer, it almost feels more like a payoff than a partnership. So again, we didn't hear him talking a lot about we didn't hear Jensen talking about X or Elon, right? Like, he makes good comments every once in a while because he wants a good relationship. He's trying to build out his own ecosystem. He knows that Tesla is probably going down a different path because they don't want to be dependent upon Nvidia. So I think it's all good. Tesla's dumping? Let's see. What does dumping mean? What is dumping? 1.74. Well, I mean, it doesn't look like it's dumping too much. It looks like actually it's probably just finding a bottom again, like it did over here, right? It went up, then it tested down again, got a higher low, gonna bounce back up here to about 435 probably, and then go up here to 460. You gotta remember, people are raising price targets today. Boy, do Bitcoin treasuries suck. Yes, they do. How bad are they today? So we got BMNR down 0.8%. We got SBET down 1.8. We got EC down 1%. So Ethereum treasuries not doing super good, even though Ethereum is doing pretty good today. We got Sequoians down 1.4% for Bitcoin treasuries. We got the Smarter Web up 0.8%. We've got Metaplanet down 3.99, so not recovering well. I might buy some of that today. We've got Solt, the Solana 2X fund, down 0.28%, but it got smoked yesterday, down 12. Upexi, which is another Solana treasury, is negative 1.62. DFDV is negative 0.62. It seems like the market is just kind of meandering. What I care about, though, today, and again, I know if you're just in treasuries and you don't own CleanSpark, it sucks. I get it. But this is cool for us, the people that do. So again, Tesla or CleanSpark is probably one of the best things you can own over the short term in regard to options. I think it's probably going to be the springiest right now. I still like SMCI. I still like Arc Genomics. And then I love ARGT for a future opportunity. Yeah, there's just a lot of good things coming. Iron and Cypher, I just don't pay enough attention to them anymore to be able to speak to it. I know there was dilution in Iron. They're going to be doing a raising. I can't remember if it was like 800 million or something. But I do think that's pulling them back, and that could pull them back maybe for a little bit. There's some gaps over here. But I still think they can get 34% upside easy. This is a parabolic move, though. So it's probably going to end up somewhere in this blue, right? What is CleanSpark doing if Tesla is dumping? HPC, man. We just talked about how we had the CEO of the company hanging out with the Treasury Secretary and the head of the banking committee. I think that's a big deal. Will I add BMNU if BMNR drops? Maybe. Yeah, if we get down, let's look at BMNR. Let's real quickly pull that over. So BMNR is down 1%. It's got a gap to close down at 57 something, 86. So not too far, just the bottom end of 58, upper 57s. It could go down further because you can see volume doesn't really peak until we get down here around the 55, 56 range. I don't think it's going much further than that though. And I think we still have an ascending triangle, which is kind of what we drew up before. I drew this as a midline. I'll change it to red to make it look a little more. So, and I'll get rid of some of the old stuff, right? Let's get rid of the old stuff, clean up the chart. So could it hit peak volumes and the fib level? Peak volumes are right here, fibs right here. That would be a beautiful place to stop. It could maybe even get down to the line, but then we have a support zone that goes all the way back to August 2025. It looks really powerful to me. I could see this, and I'm just going to raise this up a little bit. I could see this being something where we get our breakout and our measured move gets us up towards the 139 range for BMNR. Just as like this is a really safe place to exit the majority of your position. And that's 170% or 50%. So if you get the 2X fund, you're probably getting 300% at those levels. Yeah, I might do that. I might actually do that. I just grabbed some Tesla. Cool, man. So yeah, BMNR down 0.48%. Again, I don't think it's going too low though, so I wouldn't even know if I'd wait. I'd probably just look to do it now. Again, this is the Bitcoin gold ratio. It hasn't even blown up yet, guys. This was the last time it happened. That was the move. This other time that it happened, that was the move. And we're just getting ready to do that. And so I think a safe bet is to say that we can get up towards like at least, at the very minimum, this 77 range, and maybe as high as the 130-ish range. Or let's keep it safe, like 110, 111. But yeah, 130, probably honestly right here. This is probably what we're doing. So that would be an amazing move. And if it can't get that high and all it does is this, I'm going to be stupid fucking rich. Stupid fucking rich. I did check iron. I didn't check it though from a standpoint of where could it fall to. This could be a short-term top. I don't know though. It might not last. Everybody's talking iron. I just don't know that you can count on it lasting. It's already up 1,000%. But we can do that. We can do a retracement zone just to where if somebody's interested in getting in, and this is a short-term top. I'm not saying it is. I don't want to say it is. Then we're going to be seeing this. So maybe it gets down, again, kind of close that gap down to the 50 range. I can't see it getting much lower than that. Honestly. It could drop all the way down towards like this 30 level, but again, I just don't see it happening. I think it would be dumb for that to happen. I just don't see what the catalyst would be. And maybe there is one, and I can't see it. Kyle Wright, Cookie Monster says, would imagine that MSTR does well on that move. Which move? For CleanSpark popping? Or which move? Which move are you talking about, Cookie Monster? Kyle says EOS has run a lot since June. Is that EOC? Is it EOSE? There is a shortage of energy storage, and Tesla can't meet all of it. Could be an interesting play, maybe. Oh, gold BTC. Yeah. No, you're probably right. That's where we're going to see the treasuries, I think, really take off, and maybe. I think Bitcoin goes first. So I think treasuries are going to start to catch up. Bitcoin treasuries, I think, are going to start catching up. EOC's pumping. Yeah, I don't know enough about the fundamentals on that one. We could take a look. There's more stuff we could talk about, but this is kind of fun, so let's just do it. Plus, I'm trying to get more energy plays, so. This is a $4 billion enterprise valuation. The market cap is 3.7. It's got some choppy revenues. You could see how they had 15 million in revenue and they lost. They had negative 73 million in free cash flow. They are diluting shareholders like crazy. I feel like you could just sit back on this one, even though the price is going up. They're diluting shareholder value so much, and their debt is growing. This just looks like it could be a failing company. It does not give me a strong resolve when their debt is growing at the rate it is. It's scary. Now, that could all change, but these are just really red metrics. Really red. Now, this is what they say they're doing. I don't know the story well enough. I don't follow the board. If this is what they're doing and they can actually slow the burn dramatically, that would be better. But I just don't know this company well. If you believe this is really going to happen, these aren't right. That should say 2026. I don't know why that's happening. Alejandro, I don't know if you watch anymore still, but you should probably fix that. It looks like your future date is showing wrong. But if this is what we're going to have, this kind of growth in 2026, then it could be doing better in the future. The problem is it's just so red right now. This is the kind of company I'd short because of risk of death. I might even add it to my short list. It looks like Bitcoin's retracing a little bit in the morning still. We might not be done back testing. That's possible. If you look over here, this trend line right here, guys, I'm going to change this. This is probably the one that should be bold right now because it's the one that matters. This other one I'm going to get rid of, or at least tone it down, because there's a trend line for what happened here since December of 2024, the last year-ish almost. And then there's a trend line that goes back to over 4 years. So the 4-year one is going to be a great area of support. So if we continue to drop, I would actually think that we end up dropping and finding, I mean, look at the volume here, guys. Look how weird this is. Down in the bottom corner. I'm going to move this to the top screen. I normally don't do that, but I want to show this because this is just so good. Look at this line. Look at this line of support and how it matches up with the volume. And again, sometimes we might have to move out a little bit. Yeah, Jeff is a smart guy too, so he might know something I don't know. But look at this real quick. Look at the volume shelf that's underneath of us here. If we go back the last year plus, right? The volume shelf is absolutely massive. It perfectly lines up almost with that trend line that goes back years, right? So that's a very interesting look, in my opinion. Very strong level of support. So if Bitcoin does continue to drop, 121,853 is going to be a great line of support. I just wanted to point that out real quick. I think that's a big deal. Let me see here. Oh, now I broke both of these screens. Let me fix this real fast. 1 second. I'll fix this super fast. I just got to move a few things around. So let me see. So I got sources, stock. Let me see what I'm going to share here. Bitcoin. There you go. That's back. And then we'll go to our other view. Not my camera, but my screen. And then let's put that back on. What is it? CleanSpark? Oh, it is CleanSpark right now. There we go. Fixed. And CleanSpark is still up 5%, guys. I don't know how much money I'm up today. It's probably a stupid amount. Just because of that. The rest of my portfolio could be down today. And I'm making so much money off of my $1 million in calls that I don't fucking care. Because we're breaking out of a 6-year downtrend. And what else is up? Arc Genomics. The other one I was telling you guys that you should be excited about is continuing its path higher. Again, this thing is 1.22 billion. It is so cheap. It's fucking ridiculous. That's just awesome. I got to bring my bike into the shop today, my mountain bike. My battery isn't charging. Got to make sure I do that this morning. Guys, I need to tell you this. So Friday, I will not be around. I'm actually going to be traveling to another city. I'm getting some work done on my Cybertruck. It's got the back camera that's broken and it prevents FSD from working all the time. It's only broken when the car wash, the high pressure wash, there's one that's really powerful. There seems to be a crack in the casing or something for the back camera, but it's making it to where I don't have FSD all the time. It's driving me nuts. Plus I have other things to get done, wipers and stuff. Got to get my $88 dildo wiper replaced. In the right front door, when you press on it, it seems like the thing is stuck. It's just stuck on an on status all the time, so it won't unlock on its own. You got to do it from the inside. I'm going to be fixing all that stuff and using it as a pseudo vacation for me and my kid and my mother-in-law, my wife. So we'll be gone Thursday and Friday. So if I'm not as available, that's why. CleanSpark options that I suggest, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. They went up a lot. I'm up 308% on my options, guys. Let me just show you real quick. I haven't done this in a while, but... So my CleanSpark options, again, there's some things that are down a lot. Coincilium, I've got 1.2 million shares of Coincilium. Down a lot of money, whatever, don't really care. And ArcG, I'm down, right? Because I've got some that are in January that have lost tons of value. I don't know about CleanSpark. I can't really recommend options for CleanSpark right now. I can't. Yes, safe travels. Take it easy, man. I don't know that I can do that. It's up so much. These are mine, and if you buy them, I make more money. But and I've got more of these in another account. But ArcG has some that are interesting to me. It was the one somebody was shitting on earlier. It's that $50 contract for January 16th. And why do I like it? Because it's my worst performing investment. It's down 83%. But what happens if ArcG... So this is like one of my favorites right now. I'm always looking towards the future. I don't want to be looking at jumping into things that are already running right now, right? I don't need you to buy my bags in CleanSpark. I think plenty of other people that are not knowledgeable will do that. And again, it could still go up. And I'd feel better maybe about January calls, because November 20, I don't know. You could still do really good, dude. It's just you're giving yourself way less time. But these ArcG, and again, you get till January. I think between now and the end of the year could be really good. And maybe this isn't enough time. Maybe my other calls will do better. But we're just breaking out in this. And what happens if we get to $48 when these calls are down 82% from where I fucking bought them? I think somebody buying into this, I'm not subjecting myself to additional risk right now, but if you wanted a really asymmetric risk to reward, that seems more appealing to me. Albeit, just again, if you're betting with this kind of money, make it a very small percentage of your portfolio. So if your timing is wrong, you're not fucked. I own 3 different time frames of ArcG for a reason. You can see one grouping is already up almost 100%. The other one's up 3. So these are outperforming, right? But the one that's probably going to go up the most is probably going to be the $50. Now, again, I'm saying this right now, so I want to be very clear. These do not have as much volume. If there are thousands of people watching this and you all do the same shit at the same time, you could be paying a lot more. So this isn't necessarily something you want to do right away. You might want to just monitor the price, and you know where it is right now, right? It was between the bid and ask are 10 to 15 cents a contract, and it was up 7.14% on the day already today is what this says. It could be higher than that now. This takes a while to refresh. But look at it and make sure you know where you're at, because just the people watching this, if you guys jump into the same shit and it's illiquid, you're going to send my value to the moon. But I'm not looking to sell into you, okay? I just want to be honest. So the people that seem to do the best, and again, we've started the breakout. Maybe it won't work this way this time. Maybe everybody's going to rush into it. I don't know. Here's what I know. Every financial influencer I know is talking about BMNR. Amit's talking about it. Fucking Future Invest. We got everybody. Everybody I can think of talks about BMNR. Everybody. So that one people are in. Everybody's talking about iron, guys. Everybody's talking about the heavy amounts they've made off of iron. Not that it can't go up further, either one of those, but your risk to reward isn't as good as what it was. I don't know anybody. Well, there's like 2 other people out of the entire of FinTwit that are talking ArcG. That gets me interested. You know what I mean? Especially a contract where you've got until January for this thing to hit 50, and it's breaking out of a trend that's taken it forever. Where is it here? Look at this. 1,731 days. We're at a price level that we were at in March of 2018. Think about that. So, and look at what happened here. Look at the speculation and what happened here over this period of time. From March of 2020 at the bottom of the pandemic low. So remember, this was a really steep low. Let's maybe not include that. Let's put it up here. This thing, let's just say from over here, from April of 2020 to January of 2021, this thing went up 200%. If it goes up 100%, we're going to make shit tons of money. And you can, I think, if you look at the contracts, but I think with those 50 ones, and you guys know how to use the free options calculator. If you don't and you're new here, I made a video a long time ago called Options 101. I think it's one of the best options videos out there. It helps you understand the risk and why I do leaps. This is a shorter time frame bet, so I would use a very small allocation with it. You need to think about risk management. This is not financial advice. But this is amazing. This is like, this thing could go up. How hard would it be for $1 billion to flow into this and to send it to 3 billion and get us up here? I don't think it's very hard. I think it could go even higher. This might sound fucking retarded, but I think in the next year plus, this thing can go up 337%. I mean, look at what it did over here, right? If we count this from the bottom, just as far as like volumes coming in, it did almost 400. And again, that was a unique circumstance, but we're looking at a lot of unique circumstances. And the biomed space, like the genomics space, is incredibly depressed, as you can see. So this is what's coming, I think. Namdatan says, if you only read the books that everyone else is reading, you can only think what someone else is thinking. Yes, that's such a good point. That reminds me, oh God, it reminds me of this Matt Damon movie. What is it called? Holy shit. With Robin Williams. Somebody please help me here. I don't know why I can't remember the name. Susan. Oh my God, I love you. How you doing, babe? I'm back, bitches. You're fucking awesome. Love having you. But Matt Damon in this movie, he does the How Do You Like Them Apples? Good Will Hunting. Thank you. I don't know how I forgot that name. It's like literally one of my favorite movies. But there was a part where he got in this verbal argument with these educated people because, again, he hadn't went to college. He was cleaning the fucking college, right? But with these educated people, highly educated, and he got in a verbal confrontation with them because they were making fun of his friend Ben Affleck in the movie. And he utterly destroys them. You know how he destroys them? Because he knows what books they've read. At the bar. Yeah, how do you like them apples? It's one of my favorite memes, and it's an amazing own. Probably one of the best ever. But he literally mocks them because he's like, I already know your arguments before you fucking say them because I know what you think and what you've read and what you've been fed. That's essentially what happens in this moment. And yeah, it is Good Will Hunting. And so that made it to where he was able to just destroy them because he's like, you're thinking about all these things, but in actuality, it's this. And he let them know. And then at the end of it, he's basically like, and I just fucking schooled you with, you got your very expensive education. I just schooled you, your Harvard, Ivy League education. And I just schooled you off of a membership to the fucking public library. It's one of the best things ever. But it pointed to the fact that if you're in the masses and all you ever do is focus on chasing like the masses do, you'll never be early. You'll never be early. So you got to realize that you have to have your own individual thoughts and you have to think differently than other people if you want to be early. And I'm not always right and I'm not always early, but hey, man, you know what I was early on? Bitcoin. You know what I was early on? Tesla. You know what I was early on? Palantir. You know what I was early on? Robinhood. You know what I was early on? SoFi. You know what I was early on? It looks like ArcG. You know what I was early on? CleanSpark. You know what I was early on and got out of too quickly? Iron, MicroStrategy. My problem hasn't been unique thoughts. It's been being too early and exiting too quickly. But that's a good problem to have. If that's your fucking problem, if your vision is too far into the future, and that's the problem you have, that's the problem I'll take. Oh, Susan, thank you for being a whale. I appreciate you, sweetie. I hope life is going good for you. I know you probably had a lot of stress over time, so I hope things are feeling better and you're more relaxed. Hey, Go, you could have gotten that for $1.25 and late fees. Yeah, that's what it was. Is that the line? Fucking love it. Thank you, dude. Rory, if you want to be early, look into graphene. Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. I'm just not looking for shit coins. It's a shit coin, right? You're not talking about actual graphene. Stony, you're great. You were great for ASST. Yeah, right? I actually timed that one to perfection. And I'm not telling you to get back in it yet, right? Right? It's still going down. So even though, what's his name? Ben Workman got on the board. You know, the Workman has not worked out too great in regard to investments. I've put like 400,000 into Sequoians and I got like 20 grand in it. So it hasn't worked out well for Sequoians, which is still down. I mean, it was down 87, 88%. So this is actually looking like it's going to bounce. So somebody getting into it right now who doesn't have to worry about non-standard options because you bought before they did a reverse stock split, just bullshit. CleanSpark's up over 8% now. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. 9%? I don't even know if this is right. It says the option's up 17%. That's probably going to explode. But, wow. Wow. So it's only operating at a 2x multiplier right now, but this is probably going to go up. It could be 3 or 4x by the end of the day. So this thing could turn into like 300, 400,000. And you're welcome. Whoever said thanks. Jules, you're welcome. I'm happy to do things on here. I want to spend more time on here just having fun and shooting the shit. I don't want to be the news guy anymore. I still want to be on top of news and make sure that you guys are aware of what's going on. If I can get AI to make this a lot easier, then I'll probably do more videos in the future. But time-wise, I'm trying to have more time in my life. So I really need to optimize Grok and the tools that are there to have it do all the reporting of new information for the things that I believe people will care about, but to do the AI to do all of it. And I think it can do it. I just have to figure it all out. But my goal would be to have one stream on X where it's AI that is dissecting all the information. And then ideally, I could have that feed be something that I point in AI and YouTube to in order to be able to create the news virtually. That way, if people want the news, they can get it from like a virtual representation of myself, at least in audio, and have it do all the work. And then I will do jam sessions with you like this, where we just talk about shit. I think that would be fun because I do love the interaction and I don't feel like I've been doing it enough and I don't want to just be a board of information recycling. I feel like that's pretty monotonous on my mind, body, and soul, and I don't want to be that. Thank you, Susan. You're such a sweetie. But yeah, this is so 24% now. So yeah, we're up 2.5x almost. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It's just $1 million in options right now here. $200,000 gain from this one investment. It's retarded. ARCG seems to be going up too, guys. But again, those 50 contracts, if you believe that things could be good between now and January, that thing could double. That could probably give you, I don't know, 10, 20x. You'd have to run the calculator. What were we looking at though? So CleanSpark's doing really good. Is there more news? I mean, what the fuck is going on? This is great. I love this. I'm not upset about it, guys. I'm not upset about life today. I'm grateful. And Tesla, hey, look, it's doing exactly what I said it was going to do, right? It bounced. It's going back up. It's going to try and get above the support line of 435. Guys, if you could, hit the like. If you think that I provide value and I do good work, thank you, Matt, for that 31, man. I appreciate you, dude. That's awesome that you just did that when I was saying this. And the EC, thank you for the 10. You're fucking awesome. But if you guys appreciate the work too, not just the donations, but if you guys could make sure you like every time in these videos and comment after they're over and talk in the chat, it helps so much for spreading the word. And I want to have more people. And on X, comment on those videos and share them, please. I put them out every time we do this, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I want to help other people. If we can get our community to grow, you know what happens? We all get richer. We all get smarter. If the Discord grows, if the X posts, if more people are coming on here to be able to chat and they're paying, we're filtering out the garbage because it's people who actually give a shit about this community that are able to talk within it. we're going to get smarter and we're going to get better. And I want to spend more time. I don't spend enough time in the Discord, and I know it, but I want to spend more time being able to source ideas from chat and talking to you guys, and also within Discord. And then I want to have that output that just gives me all the things that I need to know, so that I don't spend my entire day trying to figure out what I should be conveying to you for information. It's going to get exciting, but if you guys can help with that, promoting the channel does it. And I really appreciate all you guys. I appreciate the tips, and I appreciate everybody that's been here a long time. This is the fun part. This is the part where we're going to make a lot of money, and it's going to go quick. It could last for a while, but it's probably going to go quick, and we need to enjoy it, and we need to savor it, and we need to get more people to be able to enjoy that. Nam Dotton, got to stop with scarcity mindset with likes. Yes, exactly. Gemini Knight, did you guys go over Metaplanet? I haven't. We could take a look. Bitcoin treasuries need love too. They do. Jarrett Bell, CleanSpark, Schultz met with Scott. Yeah, we talked about that this morning. That was a fun one. I was telling people I kind of knew that was going to be a rocket ship to the moon, and it sure has been, right? And then you got the Midas touch from our boy Mike Alfred telling people that they better own CleanSpark. And so we're up 9% today, guys. That's pretty awesome. Ron Rico says, Cantor Fitzgerald raises price target to $24 for CleanSpark. So again, what did they do? Wow, they came up with the magical target that is the previous all-time high, just a hair under it, but the next fib level of the .5. So you know they're using technicals, and that you know they're using historical time frames and targets to be able to come up with their price target. And it's a safe bet because it's easily going to happen. And very easily. It's an easy 22%. And if you own the underlying, it's probably at least 100, if not more. And it will get really weird with options, guys, because once the money really starts to flow in, it will go up. That's when the multiplier gets stupid. Because everybody wants to jump into options late. It's just how it works. It's so weird. Jarrett Bell, sorry, on Pacific time this AM and just joining. No worries, man. 1.5x. I don't think you can do 2x, but if you can, great. Most people can't do me on 2x. There's different people you can operate at different speeds. I'm probably not a 2x one. My brain moves too fast already. Michael Roberts, BMNR just closed the gap now, heading higher. Did it? BMNR is 1.47% up. Smarter Web, 1.6 up. Let's see, DFTV's up. Upixie's down. I don't even want to talk about this. Solt is up almost 2%, and Metaplanet is down 3.86. Metaplanet is pretty boring to look at right now. We can pull it up. Mara's up 1.9%, but again, they're just not moving as quickly. I would think that they would have been the ones to adapt the best, but they just haven't. We're still seeing a bottom signal here. I would say that not much has changed, except I might buy some today with some of my CleanSpark profits. I might sell just 1 to 2% of my CleanSpark allocation today, and then I might buy. Somebody's calling me. Let me kill that. I might buy Metaplanet today. I think I'm going to. Because I think let's look at the measured move. We've got an inverse head and shoulders here. It's weird because this is a really deep shoulder, but we're going to count it. And this is a really deep shoulder over here, but I'm still going to count it because we got this bullish divergence. Before I do that, let me do this. We've got this bullish divergence down here where we're starting to go up, and it's slight. And could we go down and even touch this line and get just a little bit down here and make it like almost a W bottom? We could. But I don't care because I care about what's coming next, right? And we have a gap all the way up to here. So I think there's an easy 178%. And I think this thing could easily land between $12 and $14. Easily. So I'm telling you we can do 274% with a high degree of probability. But we could do 446. That's what I'm telling you. So the concept of maybe buy some of this. And again, the golden retracement zone, if you want to be safe, you could just stop at this gap right over here at 1240. And that would be probably what, 250%? Right? 223%. Doesn't that seem good? Oh, Susan, you're a sweetie. Jesse's awesome. He even taught my daughter a new word she uses nonstop. It starts with an F. Fuck. Sorry. I apologize for that. Tell her not to use Uncle Jesse words, okay? That's what I tell my nephews and nieces. Don't use Uncle Jesse words. What's the Discord? Just never look under comments, because people are probably trying to like sell telegrams and shit that is not me. But if you go to my profile, you can look and find the Discord. The Discord, I need to get better at it. I'm not that good at it, but I post my trades in here. I post portfolio allocations in here. I need to update that. I'm going to try and do that this weekend for sure. I'll get the portfolio allocation updated. It's probably going to be 5.5 million by the time we get there. They've got Jesse's current holdings, so you can look in here and click on this, hit the pin part. You can listen to what chat's saying. Tommy's posting in it. Tommy's great. Tommy got fucked a while ago by getting his account screwed on X. I don't know if you ever got it back. Tommy, did you get it back? But you can see in here, my admin wife, she put in the chart. So you can actually see what I see. And as I update my chart, you can have it. I think that's the most valuable part of Discord, is the fact that you can speak with the rest of the community that's in here. And there's over 1,000 people. And then at the same time, you can see what they're talking about in chat. And then at the same time, you can see the charts for all my stuff, Bitcoin treasuries, CleanSpark. You can go up here and you can look at the charts for them and be on the same page without me. On the days I'm not here, you can see what I'm showing on the chart. And you know my methodology from the way I show you everything every day. So you can kind of derive where we're sitting and what the next level would be and where you might want to sell. I think, based upon my methodology, I think that you can do that. And so I think it holds value. But again, always be accountable for your portfolio allocation and your strategy. It's not my problem if you put YOLO if you put your life savings into Coincilium, don't fucking blame me, okay? Don't blame me. And why should you not blame me? Well, let's just look here. What is my allocation? And again, I put more into it, but my allocation to Coincilium was 2% the last time I checked. It's probably around that now. So if you put everything into this and blame me or Sequoians, that 2%, like, I can't help you. You should probably not be doing this yourself. All right. Gemini Knight. I was only able to buy the German Metaplanet ticker. German is interesting. Let's see. We got the German ticker. But that one doesn't have as much history as the Japanese ticker. That's the one we should really be looking at. So this is the one that matters, right? This is the one that gives us the best indication of the Fibonacci extension, the previous historical price history. I don't like this widening. That is not a good look for it. It's not a good look, but it does give us an idea potentially for a top. And maybe I'm going to have to draw this differently. It's probably going to be like this, right? We're not going to look at that red. It should actually even be lower, but whatever. It gives us a rough idea. I mean, we're not nearing it, but this is a rising broadening wedge. So what it's telling you is that there's a divergence because we're starting to broaden out, and it's not a channel anymore. It's something where it's probably on its last leg. Now, its last leg could be 300% higher. So, but it's telling you that we're in the last probably parabolic wave. In my book, you're the GOAT. Thanks, man. I give more. See, I want to give more than just the news. I don't want to just talk about news. I want to automate as much of that as I can so that we can just talk. And get rid of the trash, too, because I talk a lot of politics and other stuff that all of you might not care about. So I would like to have it to where there's like an X account that's automated that gives the juicy stuff about stock. And maybe it's just a private group where you guys can talk based on the social media feed of the things that it's all the things. It'll track all the news investments. This is my thought. It'll track all the news investments of everything that I own. And so if you're mirrored in a way to my portfolio allocation, and maybe I'll also have it track news things of investments of interest, like how we were talking about hedging strategies over the next month. So I would like it to track those news events, but also kind of be smart and filter. The politics, it's a part of investing. That's true. There is definitely stuff that's relevant to it, but I think that could be separate from just like, here's the tickers and what's going on with it. If the politics interfere and they create a news headline that's tied to the investment, great. I never do SOLT. I look at the underlying because SOLT is a 2x multiplier, and I don't like looking at multipliers to determine price action. But I do like Solana here, and I've talked about that before. I think the measured move for Solana is a move towards $650, which is a huge uptick. It's almost a 200% increase from where we're at. It would put this at an allocation of over $300 billion, a third of $1 trillion for this network. But crypto it runs harder, man. Brother, this is the platform I have been looking for. I think I'll learn a lot from being here. That's awesome, Ryan. I hope you get it too. I've done this stuff for a very long time. I'm a high school dropout. I'm currently worth over $5 million. My goal is to be 12 to 20 by the end of the year. And I started from low. Everybody's winning right now, so it's kind of hard sometimes to know who to listen to. But 2019, I was in the red, and that's when I leaned in hard to crypto and Tesla because I knew it was the right thing to do. And so I took out credit card debt with 0% offers. Guys, those are fucking great now. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it probably this weekend. I'm going to see if I can get $100,000 in credit card debt, 0% for at least 12 months to 18, maybe some 21s in there. But I'm getting 12-month offers, promotional offers at 3% fees, which is lower than the 4 to 5% they were giving. One of the credit cards, I won't name it, but there's a $41,000 credit limit on it, and they're giving us a 3% fee for 12 months, where it wouldn't be coming due and going to the default rate of like 16% until like October of next year. That is cheap money to borrow. 3% is not a lot of money to pay for 0% for a year. It's just not. So I'm going to be doing some of that, but that's amazing that right now the credit markets are opening up so much and that you can borrow debt for so cheap to live off of. But that's what I had to do here, right? And I don't recommend doing that and then investing unless you really know what you're doing or you're taking a wild bet and you're willing to risk bankruptcy, which I did. I've done that before. I've been bankrupt before. But that allowed me to understand the system behind it and how I could turn it around towards my benefit. And it helped me understand why somebody like Donald Trump, who had filed bankruptcy several times, was able to continue to get wealthier and wealthier. Because if you keep building, if you keep moving forward, you will get rich. The bankruptcy system helps with that because they want you to be able to build a business and fail, or build a life and fail and be able to start over again. And it's one of the best parts of being in America. But again, I was in the red. And then if I turn this to $12 to $20 million, I'm going to be one of the people that people should be listening to. And if I do that over a 6 to 7 year time frame, 6-year time frame, and I can do that, if I get to my goal is to be 100 million before 2030 or near it, right? $100 million. And then by 2035, I want to be a billionaire. And if I can do that, I'll have been one of the best investors in history over a long period of time. So that's my goal. That's my goal. It's pretty modest, I know, but that is my goal. Let me get caught up in chat again. Gold still rising? Yeah. Yep. Up 1.43%. That's beautiful though, because Bitcoin is still lagging. It's only up 1.24. And so it hasn't even really started to outperform yet. It hasn't even started. Just don't quit the channel. I won't. Even if I drop down to 1 day a week where I spent like 4 or 5 hours talking to you guys, I would still do that. That's always going to be a thing. This is a part of my life. It's how I give back. And I did a post. I don't know. I did a post the other day. Let me see what it was. What was it? Where would I put that? Fuck, maybe it's under here. Oh, yeah, right here. And I mean this. I actually genuinely mean this. This is like when you grow throughout life, you realize different things about what your goals are. My goals went from very, very modest and having a very low opinion of myself to having a much higher one. And I wanted to retire myself. Then I wanted to do my wife. Then I shouldn't say it that way. Then I wanted to get my wife retired. And then I wanted to get my in-laws and my parents retired. And then I wanted to start helping other people. And I've been able to do all those things. But I also want to enrich the city that I live in. And I want to make hundreds of thousands of people rich. Nothing would make me feel better than to see my city prosper and the people that are in it that listen to me do really well and benefit the local economy that I live in. And nothing would make me happier to know that I benefited people in the United States and across the world in building wealth with the right vision and wanting to make the world a better place. It's literally why I do this. You think Meta is still a good performer for the end of the year? Could be. Meta's AI isn't doing great. Like Llama isn't getting as much. It was the best open source and it really had a lot of headway, but I don't think it's doing as well now. But their VR is untouchable. I think it was a lot better at 85 when I bought my options contracts at the end of 2022 down here. Does anybody remember that? 85, 90s? I've got the post still from that. But this is where I have a problem with this one. And I haven't looked at this chart in a very long time, so you're just getting the fresh view of this probably in a very, very long time. Hasn't even been accessed in a long time, right? Can you make me prosper? I cannot. Only you can do that. But I can hopefully provide my experiences that are beneficial to you in some way. And you can make yourself prosper. That's the only way it ever works. I've learned that the hard way. But so I actually think this is topped. And I think I called it probably over here, and then it went down, and then it hit again. But we're hitting a hard top. It's going to take a lot to get this company over 1.8 trillion. Is it possible that it can somehow dwarf this and then go up? Yes. But if it's doing that, Tesla's probably through the roof, and there's other investments that probably gave you a much better return. Meta has already run, I mean, from the high, 800%. Since the bottom, the tweezer bottom in November of 2022. So if 2023, 2024, and into 2025, if a little less than 3 years, 2.75 years, you made 800% off of a large cap, I would say get the fuck out. Unless they're doing something transformational that's just going to explode them up. MB, joining late, 2LDR crypto. Dude, I'm talking about so much shit. Yeah, you got to go back and watch the whole thing. Joel, great pre-market show this morning. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm going to try and get better. I'm going to try and do less news and talk more like this and being engaged with you guys. It just feels right. It just feels right. And we like the ways it feels. Solana or Sold still up. How are we doing on the rest here? Let's just do a dial down the line here. Let's look at everything broadly real quick and just see if anything's interesting. So we have the change for the day. You could see that Baba isn't doing great, so it looks like a little China trade not doing well. Tesla's flat. Consumer non-durables are hurting. Big tech, Nvidia, Apple's, AVGo's, AMD's chips are doing good. That's interesting. That's notable. Let's look, though, at crypto bubbles and see how the crypto section is doing. Now, this is going back a day. So we can see ETH drastically underperforming. It's actually gotten hit a little bit this morning. It was doing better, actually. Solana underperforming a little bit, but I'm willing to bet if we go back here, let's go back a week, see what the Vantage looks like from there. So we still have Bitcoin outperforming all, which means the BTC dominance is still strong. So this is something that, I hate to say it, Benjamin Cohen, somebody who I have blocked because he was a fucking asshole. I'll still watch his content, though. We are bouncing off peak volumes. This could happen. Bitcoin could be running over the short term, which, again, maybe that helps Metaplanet and Smarter Web. I hope they still underperform for a while, because once you start to see them outperforming Bitcoin, you know we're on the way up. But maybe this is it, or maybe we fall underneath. Maybe we just chop up a little bit and then we start dropping. We are due for a drop. If you look every cycle, look at this drop where Bitcoin dominance became less. Bitcoin dominance became way less. Bitcoin dominance has not even really started to become less, but we did have this moment where we tested back up again over here. But time frame wise, we're probably closer to this. We're probably like this based on time frame. And where we are in the cycle. But the time frame could be longer this cycle. There's so much confusion. But one way or another, Bitcoin dominance is strong right now. It's doing better. Let's see what else we have that might be interesting. Again, Solana looked great. Blocked? Who's blocked? Did I block you? Did I do it? I've been accused of blocking people before. I do it actually pretty frequently. Jared, I don't invest in margin, but I'm trying to figure out if I'm missing, if I can margin on Hood at 5.5% and buy STRC. Theoretically, that works, but STRC could also go down. It is the first time that people have started looking at products like STRC, right? It's new. It's a hybrid. It's not a bond. It's trying to replace bonds, especially in the corporate sector. It gives you a really high return, but it's not proven. So I am reluctant to put a lot of money into something like STRC right now. I would rather put it into TLT, the 20-year bond. Why? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's telling you to get into bonds right now. They're telling you the exact opposite, actually. Oh, I just lost that. Let me see. Where did I put that? Oh, no, that's it. They're not telling you to get into bonds. And why aren't they telling you that? I mean, I haven't been telling you that because it was down 50% and it's sitting at the same level it was in what fucking year is this? 2002? Oh, if I blocked you on X and you feel like you should be unblocked, put your handle in the chat and I will unblock you. Okay? I apologize. I get a little trigger happy. And sometimes when I'm just trying to, I try to hide comments that are spam and that are scams. And sometimes I block people too because I think they're that. Or sometimes I might just fucking hate what you said. It could be either. I try not to be that guy anymore, but I did do that for a while. So if you want it back, just put it in here and I'll bring you back later, I promise. Lol, Jesse, we all blocked Ben after he shit-talked James. Oh, he shit-talked James too? Invest Answers? He shit-talked... What an asshole. I still watch his content, though, because he provides value. I hate that part. All right, Shmuel. We'll fix you real quick here. Let me pull you up. You get an unblock, and you get an unblock. Let's see here. Oh, wait. I got to take that part out. Is that you? Hey, yep, it sure is. There you go, bud. You're back. You're safe. I don't blame you for accidental blocks with all the junk. Oh, dude, it's so fucking hard. I hide comments and block bots probably 200 times a day. About Soul. Yeah. I don't know why. Ben Cohen is such a dick. I was hoping he was a better person. I used to like promote his stuff and tell people about his work, but he's such a dipshit. But yeah, TLT, why do I think that's better? Because you have a breakup that could go have a measured move easily to the 109 range, if not up here in the 120 or even higher towards the 134 in the next year or two. So this thing could give you anywhere from like 20 to 50% upside, right? 23 to 50% upside, in my opinion, over the next year or two. And it pays a dividend of 3.75. That will go down, though, as rates go down. But isn't that like a pretty good deal? Like you could get 53% upside or 52% upside in this thing. And you can treat it like cash. So I personally think this is springier and it's proven, right? Unless people have totally given up on America. But I can tell you this. If America's bonds can't be sold anymore in any fashion, we're fucked as a society and a world. So I would bet that they won't be. I would bet that they're going to be okay. We are looking at a change, and in the future, STRC and these other things could be the future. And the government and Bitcoin related bonds from the government, Bitcoin bonds with Bitcoin and government backing, through our Bitcoin strategic reserve that we're aggressively growing, maybe with an affiliation to miners like CleanSpark, who met with the Treasury Secretary. I don't know. That could all be interesting. Am I familiar with QBTS? It's a quantum one, right? Quantums are a lot of what I'm looking at shorting, actually. There's a lot of good quantum shorts. And maybe companies like EOC where they just aren't profitable right now. You could have a great company and a great concept and still fail. So there'll be like a basket, maybe of 5 shorts that I'll be doing to try and get across different areas of the markets. But I don't know. That particular one I haven't looked at. I don't know, guys. Let's see. I'm just going to we'll run through this one last time just to see how things are sitting. CleanSpark's only up 7% today. Wah. That's pretty cool. I think the breakout's confirmed, guys. I'm just going to throw it out there. ARCG is up 3.27. Fuck. That's crazy. I could be making a lot of money off of that too. I don't know. That could get fun. I'm up 110,000, 130,000 in ARCG calls today, but those are just getting started. I'm up almost 300,000 in CleanSpark calls. So I'm up, guys. I'm up over $400,000 today, roughly, between ARCG and CleanSpark. You got to love that. Yep, live unblocking. How is that? How's that for a return? This is getting exciting, guys. This is getting fun. How did the calls do today? Let's see. And again, when I'm showing calls, pay attention to what numbers they are. Okay? Don't buy shit and get fucked and blame me. Not my problem. So the stock is up 3.33. The 50s are doing about a 2x. The 48, so people are still valuing time more than opportunity. That's what this tells me. So people aren't gambling on ARKG right now, which means the dumb money hasn't really come in yet. But the dumb money will end up looking smart, at least the initial players, because they'll make this return. If we get to 50, like I think we will, between now and January, if we get there in some kind of aggressive way in the next couple of months, these people will do well, but it's risky. Whereas these guys, you can see people are dialing up the risk. So it's almost up 100%. This probably still needs to update, but this one's up 2x, the underlying. This one is up way more than that. What is that, 8x? 7.5x, the underlying, this one right here. So people are really liking June. They're really liking June. Even though it's barely up, they're really liking that. That one bounced back really well. And that's where I've got the bulk of my money too. Funny 5 minutes at the opening. Yeah, Tesla's at 0.31. And again, it's right back where it needs to be, guys. So I just want to point this out. It did exactly what we talked about. How closely? Almost perfectly. Almost perfectly. Look at that line and that blue line that goes back to our 4-year trend. We're underneath of it. And so ideally, we'd like to get higher than this, maybe like 435. If we're at 435 at close, I think that's room to run back up to the 466 range and look to establish new all-time highs. It looks really, really pretty right now. Wendell Davis, I also agree, Jesse, you're a breath of fresh fucking air every morning. That's awesome, dude. I really appreciate that. I try not to bullshit people. Ryan St. Lawrence, I've only ever purchased shares. I've never played with options. If you do it, just do it. Just do it tiny, man, and learn. Don't go all in and wreck yourself. When you incorporate time, so if you just have to be right about Tesla going up and being the biggest company in the world, your chance of success is like 99%. Okay? Based on my research. So you're going to win, right? You're going to win. But it's also a large cap. It's over $1 trillion. But if you start throwing options in the mix and saying this needs to happen over 1 month, very risky. Anything can happen in a month. We could get some kind of weird tariff thing, or Trump says something. Fucks everybody, right? That could easily happen. But if you go out a year, you're safer. If you go out 2, you're even safer. But the shorter time frames, higher risk, higher reward. But when you add time into the mix, I like leaps. I like things that give me 2+ years of time to be right, at least 1.5 years. But you don't get as much. You won't be the person who's posting the crazy screenshots because 1 or 2 fucking people held on to something and it went up 10,000%, like Iron, right? You won't be one of those people. You'll have only made like 2,000% if you use leaps, or 3,000%. You won't be 10. But you'll have much better risk profile. King Size Smile says, great. Hey, I appreciated your post the other day, dude. That was very, very nice of you to say, and I'm glad to see that you benefited so much, dude. Jules, besides Tesla, do you have any other robotics plays? Not really. I don't believe that Figure is real. I know a lot of other people are talking about it. I know Jensen Huang just mentioned Figure. I know that Anduril has a contract with Archer. But I think the guy behind it is scammy, and I think manufacturing is hard. Everybody can build a prototype. Everybody can build a robot that looks fucking cool. But I can tell you this, the CEO of Figure, which I'm sure, I know Amit talks about Figure, because he was a part of the initial investment. Like, so he got in early, because the person that was, when I was in Vegas, they were offering me entry into Figure, but I didn't know it. I didn't see it until later. I actually don't care, because I think the company's scammy. But I could have got in with these guys like pre-IPO shit into it. And I think Amit probably did. I think the same guy was really good friends with him. And I think he got in. I don't know. You guys tell me. Or Amit, maybe you can tell me. But so I think he's probably got a financial interest in that company doing well. And so he's probably overly optimistic, even though he does a good job playing the middleman and trying to be, objective. I think subconsciously he's still probably very pro Figure, and because of his financial interest. I am not that way. You've seen me. Anybody who's been here for a long time, I will shit on something that is my biggest fucking investment if I think it's right. Kraken Robotics. I love that you said that, Connor. I actually just watched a YouTube video that was very interesting about Kraken. They do undersea robotics, and they have major contracts with Anduril and are looking to grow, and have other contracts outside of Anduril that are looking to grow. It's very interesting that you said that. But I don't like Figure. I don't think it's real. I think the guy seems very Nikola Tesla, Archer, and all these things. He's created a bunch of companies that haven't really built good products, and none of it's reached mass market at all. And somehow he's just supposed to be the next Elon Musk. And yet he doesn't even answer my questions. Like, every time I post in his chat, I ask him one fucking question over and over again. I'm like, that's cool. Does it have a fucking brain? Nothing. I think the only reason he hasn't blocked me is because I have over 100,000 followers and I'm not obscenely rude to him. But I think he might block me in the future. Brett Adcock or whatever the fuck. Cock in your name, you know, that's an interesting thing. Anyway, I think he probably will eventually, because he's going to get annoyed by me because I keep saying, hey, that's cool, you got the 10 man, but do you have a brain? Anyway, defense tech space, yeah. Time, thank you for becoming a member. You can talk in chat. Are you thinking of opening new Tesla Leaps? No, I don't want to. I will get interested in Tesla Leaps again when I think that it's bottomed. Looking back, should I have done Tesla Leaps when I was telling everybody that it was getting ready to break out? Probably. But my risk profile, I didn't want to. I knew it was breaking out down here. I knew it had back tested well. I told the world that. I've called the price action on Tesla better than anybody I know. Anybody. And I know a lot. And there's just nobody that does it better than I do it with Tesla right now. Not to be Donald Trump, but it's true. And I probably should have done it down here and done some like 2027 leaps, but I was trying to make Tesla the conservative portion of my portfolio that was in my long-term investment account that I'm going to hold for a very long time. So I didn't do that, and I probably wouldn't do it here because we've already run pretty good. We went from 335 all the way up to 460 something. So I'm not really interested in leaps. I think options are better spent in things like ARGT in the future. Maybe not where we're at right now, but maybe a month or two from now, it looks really attractive. And you get into that one early and benefit from Argentina's growth. They were calling Argentina the next United States of America. They were writing articles before they went full socialist over 100 years ago, talking about how Argentina was getting ready to surpass the United States of America. That they were going to ramp up in the years ahead, and they were going to be the next big power and be like China is now. But that never happened because they embraced socialism, which is basically communism. And they fell apart. So I think in the future, maybe that's a good one to have a small allocation towards. Again, multiple asymmetric bets in different directions. ARG, nice asymmetric bet. It's genomics. Argentina, you're looking at the northern and southern hemispheres of the Americas as becoming the next great superpower, which I believe they will be. So you're betting that us helping them and that American exceptionalism can help Argentina be successful. Javier Milei is literally the only fucking economist I would ever listen to. He is brilliant. And he even fucking plays instruments and sings. You can't get any better than this guy. He runs around with a chainsaw. He slashed massive parts of his government, and he can't get help. You can't do what he did and not get help to rebound. You can't do it. And he probably knew that, and he was placing a calculated bet on the fact that he was going to be able to get help from America and that the side of right was going to work out in his favor, and it has. And it's a beautiful fucking thing. So I love Argentina. I love ARG. I love a lot of other things, Tesla, but I don't know that I'd apply leverage. If it comes down a lot at any point after going up a shit ton, then I would leverage the fuck out of it. I got $20,000 to invest over the next 2 days. Where do you put it? I don't know, Stefan, but I don't know what you own, and that's where it's hard to answer this kind of question. BMNU, Bitminer might be a good one to put a little bit in. I like Solt. If you like Solana, Solt is a 2x fund that I think can give you a 500% gain this cycle pretty easy. And again, ARCG looks great right now. CleanSpark looks great right now. Maybe not with options. I don't know. But there's a lot of good stuff. We're getting, so many charts are getting ready to explode. I talked about Solana. I never look at SOLT. I don't look at the SOLT chart. I always look at the underlying asset, and we talked about Solana, and it looks great. Guys, I'm probably going to need to go, though. I realized it's almost 10. I've got to drop off a bike at 11. So I do need to go. This was fun, though, and I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. I do want to end on this video again because I think it was so fucking great. So we're gonna go out with this. If you guys could comment after the video, too, that'd be wonderful. But I think you need to think about this. I need to think about this, too. That's what I'm trying to do, and I appreciate everybody and everything that you guys give. But look at life this way, and we're all going to be better for it. Peace out.
There's nothing in this world that can hurt you more than your own thoughts. There's also nothing in this world that can heal you more than your own thoughts. If you focus on the past, fear controls you. If you focus over the future, anxiety consumes you. If you focus on others, they dictate your life. If you focus on the hurt, you will continue to suffer. If you focus on the lesson, you will continue to grow. People think time is the most valuable asset, but in reality, it's your attention. Where you place your focus shapes your reality, your knowledge, your path. Time moves on regardless. Attention is what gives it meaning. So direct it wisely towards your growth, because your mind